What's going on, everybody, and welcome into episode number 80. I forgot to unmute my mic. So
Oh my god.
We're a professional
Yeah.
podcast, by the way.
so
Oh yeah.
much for that
81 episodes.
not peaking. That immediate
81
that
episodes.
that laugh
Yep.
immediately peaked us into the fucking red.
Great,
Oh,
great,
man.
great, great.
Okay, I just turned myself down. Anyway, welcome in. What's going on?
Starting things out great.
Mhm.
Episode 81.
The
We
whole
are here.
cast is gonna be lowered now.
Nope, just me. I just brought myself back down. And we are professional, and we've been doing this for a long time. And this is episode number 81. And yeah, this is what.
Are you telling us that, or are you telling them that?
He's telling himself that. He's reminding himself. He's going through it inside.
This is an inner mantra.
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Yeah, well, the puppy dog continues to make his rounds around. God, this is just scuffed. I need to like
You need a
redo.
moment.
I just need a moment real quick.
Can we restart?
Just
Take
restart.
it back.
Oh my god. Anyway, the dog is making it's going all the way around the group here, and now Bill is unfortunately sick, and we blame Scruffy because he said earlier on that it was going to be no problem and
A
no
full cast,
issues,
yeah.
full
Yep.
cast.
Last night I'm like, it's gonna be our first full cast in a while.
Yeah, well, no,
And
not anymore.
Here we are
Thanks.
Now.
Thank
Yep,
you,
no
Scruffy.
problem.
That's
Good
all
job.
your
Thanks.
fault.
Thanks
Thank
for jinxing that, buddy.
Yeah. I had to pass it on to Bill, okay? Or from me to Enigma to Bill. So
You know what it is?
listen,
It's because
hopefully you're not next.
he lost. Well, if I'm next, then
it's
the
come
whole
full
cast is
circle.
gone. The
Yeah.
whole cast is gone because if it's not like if I'm not here to edit all this stuff and put all this stuff together live, then it doesn't happen. So, yeah. You also may be wondering as to where and why my image has changed, but yes, I am no longer the Fonk guy or whatever else that dude was.
He's
that,
no longer Animu. Now he's
Yeah,
Edgelord.
He's just edgy. Yeah.
Well, this is actually fits more of like what I've been wanting anyway for a long time. So thank you to Enigma for helping me get the profile
You
pic
are-
and all that kind of stuff.
You were 100% accurate. This does fit you more. You are an Edgelord. That I've always said
Sure.
that.
Sure.
Enigma painstakingly handcrafted that. He painted it.
I did,
everything.
man.
Yeah.
I hand painted it, drew it, digital art, everything.
Yep.
It's
And then
so,
inserted a few lines of text.
It's so funny because like when you look at our cast, right, we have like this very high tech, very like well put together background, right? We've got Scruff, who his camera is a little slightly off kilter to the left on the show.
That's you, actually.
I
You
understand. I
put it
cropped that
way.
image that way,
You
but
cropped
it's because,
me out.
because I didn't want to have to do a bunch of other stuff. And then we've got like Enigma being a VTuber, and then we've got Bill, this dog, like this real just scuffed up dog.
Hey, man. You know what?
Uh,
Sometimes you just gotta be a dog, bro.
yeah,
You should know that better than anybody, considering you are a furry. Like that is.
I'm not a
Bull's
furry.
got
I'm an
his
dog in
edgelord,
him.
man. I'm an edgelord. Anyway,
You could be a furry and an edgelord at the same
That's
time,
true.
bro.
Yeah.
well, I'm not a furry.
I'll let that be known.
I think he that's more of like that's another one of those mantras. He has to tell himself that every night. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
not a furry.
I'm not a furry.
I'm not a furry.
I'm not a furry. Well, welcome in everybody. Again, if this is your first episode here, I apologize. This
What
is the
a
first
first
one
episode.
that you're coming in to go
Yeah.
see.
80 episodes. And this is your first one in here. I mean,
But
Cool.
you can catch us live right now, obviously on YouTube or over on Twitch, Pre-Patch Podcast on both. You can also go to anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast and get all the episodes there. You can get us on Spotify. And also, too, I just want to kind of throw this out there. The more that you listen to us on Spotify, put us in the background and play us, like actually that generates quite a bit of impressions and things like that for us, which really helps. So Spotify is a great tool if you're wanting to get more Pre-Patch Podcast out there, but plenty of places that you can get all the information and everything that we need and you need from us when it comes to Pre-Patch, as well as we have a Discord you can jump into, Twitter, TikTok, right? No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
TikTok, yeah,
Sure.
TikTok,
Yeah.
short.
TikTok, Instagram. TikTok, well, it's still there.
Yeah, it's right. Well, Michigan, I think, just banned it, so it's
Yeah.
it's making its rounds. But
yeah, we got TikTok. Insta. I mean, we don't post anything on it.
I think occasionally.
just feet
I think
pics.
the last The last thing that I posted on it was like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, no, it's mainly shorts, YouTube. But anyway, there and again, the Discord, you can obviously check us out there. So there's plenty of places
But
as
hey,
well as our own personal information. So
160 hours worth of content on both YouTube and on our Spotify.
Oh,
And
yeah.
any podcasting, whatever program you want to listen to us that's supported by us, which is a lot. There's like 7 or 8 of them. So
there you go.
good times.
It really is
Definitely.
honest. I'm not gonna, I know it's gonna sound like we're tooting our own horn here, but which is healthy, by the way. Don't let anybody ever tell you that tooting your own horn's not healthy. You should definitely toot your horn at least once or twice a week. But I'm gonna tell you right. I just saw a face that Scruffy made, and I'm like thinking, I forgot that. Wait, doesn't Scruffy's mom listen to our podcast? Scruffy's mom's gonna be like, Scruffy, how many times you toot your horn?
I was gonna say
Oh,
something, and then I
man.
had to stop myself.
Oh
'cause that
God.
Oh,
popped in my
Anyway,
head. It's-
what I was gonna say was that our show really is like I've listened to a lot of podcasts and I've trimmed it down to pretty much listening back to only our show. It's there's a lot out there and it doesn't seem like I don't know. They just lost their way. We always give
Finn
you like
just listens to it for himself, though. Let's be real. I mean,
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
true.
I mute
it's-
y'all and just listen to me.
yeah.
So, but no, I don't know. It's just we give you a very like honest opinion. Like if this is your first time being on the show, like we give you a very down to earth, real, honest. We're not paid. Creators. We're not news. People in the news industry. Like we're gamers. We are tech enthusiasts. We're hobbyists, just like you guys. So and girls. So I mean, it's one of those things where like the 9 times out of 10 the information that we give you is directly from our own hearts and stuff and what we think. So, you get a very real, opinion, and that's hard to come by. A lot of stuff is scripted. So, yeah.
He's going
What?
off the script quick.
I'm going.
Get him back. Get him back on the
Yeah,
script, guys.
yeah.
Okay.
It's-
Well, anyway, all right. Moving on. We'll go to the the main section. In every single episode, we kick off. We talk about the upcoming news of Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. And honestly, I think this time I don't think there was any YouTube news that I could find. So I looked pretty heavily and I could not find anything as far as YouTube related. But Twitch didn't fail us, and they decided that they were going to ban their most popular streamer, which is Kai
this was
Cenat.
wild.
And so Enigma, you're the one that told me he was banned for riding his motorcycle. Is that what it was? That
I don't know.
what it was?
There's a
Well, I
lot
heard
of
a
things.
few
There's
things,
a lot of
yeah.
things going around. Like the one thing that I heard was he was riding his motorcycle inside and they banned him for reckless behavior or something like that. And then
Yeah,
there was
like
another thing that I read that was like he was showing off his sexual content while he was playing GTA 5.
Yeah. It was like excessive amount of sexual content within GTA.
So this is
something
the
like
this
that.
is the supposed
That's
clip
that's
of
the
him in the
rumor
dirt
mill.
bike.
Yeah.
The anti-endangerment provision is what so this is from Game Rant. So they're saying
Gamer.
Is it Game Rant or Game Rant?
it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's Game Rant, not Game Rant. But anyway, yeah, so I guess this is the clip of him like riding his dirt bike in the house. I can't
Yeah.
imagine that they really would ban him for this, but I mean, sure.
I don't know. They've banned like in the one that I was reading, they had said that another creator had been banned for doing it pretty much the exact same thing on like a moped or a scooter.
Can
So,
you
I
can
mean,
we
it's fairly
Stupid.
dangerous. Like that is dangerous. Like
is,
it
yeah.
100% is.
Can we just take a
don't-
second just to realize like first off, I want to back this up because I want to talk about the sheer fact that how many people try to get into the industry and they take everything that they're doing so seriously with their PC setup. Like I cherish my setup more than I cherish
Right?
most
Yeah.
anything. And this dude is just
First
like
thing he
fuck it.
does.
rams
gonna-
a
First thing he does,
damn
right
motorcycle
into
into
it.
it.
Right. I'm gonna run my motorcycle right into my
Yeah.
rig. Right. Like
Yeah.
I think it should like honestly and this is something that I think we'll actually talk about with Kick because I want to bring this up with Kick. But to me, this just shows the trajectory and honestly, like in my mind, the degeneracy that is becoming live streaming in this type of
I
format with
think
just chatting or
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
And these
I think it's
are
also
influencers too. You know, these are the
yeah.
ones that are putting this content out to these, you know, younger audiences,
I
younger
think it's
minds, and this is what they're influencing
I
on
I
them.
I think it's also a lot of like and great. I hate when people use this shit, right? But I do think it is for at least a lot of content creators like a sense of entitlement. Like they know that they can feasibly, if they do destroy something like that, like a really nice display or a PC like a 4090, you know, or something a 4080, you know, like if they destroy something like expensive like that, they can easily replace it. And,
Yeah. If not
you
replace it
know,
themselves, get it you know,
get it replaced for
sponsored.
free.
Yeah, you get it
Yeah.
replaced for free.
right. Like it's
Which
just
So
which is which also like if I'm a company, if I'm like Nvidia and I watch this and like he destroys a computer that I sent you for free, you ain't getting another one, motherfucker.
right.
Like
well, I just what I don't understand too is like the fact that people will just tune into this, watch, and then they just feed it, and they're like, oh, I'm like this is content I want to watch. Like I really
yeah,
like I don't know. I just like my kids are not allowed to watch this kind of like behavior because it's destructive. It's
it's just
you know
stupid, man.
It's
you're not
it's just like brain rot behavior, like content. Like it's just like I can't imagine somebody actually sitting here and like getting enjoyment out of that. I don't know. Like
Oh,
I can't see that.
I guarantee you that clip right there probably has millions of views, not just because
Yeah.
of
And
this.
people are going off. They're laughing their ass off. They're dying. They're like, this is the best, you know, thing that's happened in 2023. Like,
and on top of that, they're throwing them money. You know, they're throwing them money. They're
yeah,
throwing them subs. They're throwing them, you know, all of this kind of stuff. Like it just it's a
But that's
very I
I,
don't know, man.
I was thinking about like we were kind of talking about it the other day on your stream, and I was just like we were talking about how like how multifaceted and how like un what's the word I'm looking for? Like unpredictable Twitch's bans are, right? And
yeah.
I was looking at this when I originally looked at it because I watched this clip. I was like I was kind of the same way where I was like, man, Twitch, come on, like you doing L's left and right, you know, like you don't need to be banning the most popular person on your fucking site right now, right? But like 100%. I'm looking at this and he's pulling this shit, and I'm just like, yeah, I can see why they would have
It's
banned
yeah.
it. Yeah,
I can kind of see it. You know.
like you don't want that going out to a younger audience and then being like, hey, I can pull a goddamn motorcycle into my home and drive it out a window on accident. You know?
Well, I mean,
Hmm.
and now they're pulling more, and not even just that too, but it's also like I don't know who, like obviously I doubt that this. I don't know if this is an apartment. I don't know if this is rented. I don't know if this is like a house. I don't know what
Yeah,
necessarily this is, right? But like if I am a lot of
it's
these
probably a
creators,
content creator house.
like would somebody owns this, right? If I'm
Yeah,
and I'm like you're just, you know, I don't know what I would do if I saw someone riding a motorcycle inside my house. Like I would just lose my shit. Like I
yeah,
guess
I'd lose my shit 100%.
I just don't know. And I mean, honestly, like I think, you know, now watching, because this is the first time I'm seeing this clip, like watching this clip and this, like, I almost wonder if maybe, right. And we, you know, we just sat here and said, like, you know, you don't need to be banning your most popular creator, but maybe Twitch is looking at Kick and saying, you know what, take them. Like,
Yeah,
you know, this is our time. Like, we can almost inadvertently
get rid
clean
of
up
all
our
this
act
stuff.
I
Yeah,
was
and
gonna say clean up
and
their site by sending everybody that's
over
doing
to
this kind of
Kick.
stuff over to
You
Kick.
know,
Yeah.
and yes, they'll lose money. Like obviously they're going to lose money
It's
because
for
that's going to
once
go.
Twitch
But
might not be thinking with their big head about like money and
they're
shit. You know.
they're thinking the long game, baby. No,
Yeah.
I mean, possibly. I mean,
maybe.
Possibly. Who
I mean,
knows?
it very well could be a thing because also too, like if they are looking at wanting to sell, which we've all been kind of hinting at for a while, that you know selling is an option. Maybe it is something where
They do
the
have to clean up their act. You
yeah,
know.
because Microsoft or whoever else is not going to want to buy this. Like they're just
No.
you know the stuff with like you know the Amarants, the Kai Sense, the you know, and again this is not nearly as bad as like you know Aiden and some of the stuff that's been going on over on Kick, but like getting them
But
off
this
of
is
this
out there. I
platform
mean,
and
this is
going
still
there.
Well, they
extreme.
also did you guys see that and breaking off from Kaizen? Did you say they banned
Sinak, by the way.
Forsen today as well?
Yeah, I saw they banned
Orson,
him.
I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Yep,
Yeah,
I did see.
like
It
just
was
barely today. I don't think that there's a reasoning out right now. I don't think that they've given anything or that the community has come together trying to figure out what it was. But yeah, they banned him. So
Also, too, just not only is this dangerous just because of what could happen and getting hurt, but like the fact that he's sitting there revving a gas
You got
engine
CO2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
closed-in room, like you
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
It's stupid. It's
On
stupidity, man.
on
Because
what
like
looks like that's like
again,
carpet too. Like,
again, you look at you look at what Bill was just talking about, right? There was a thing on TikTok where
mhm.
a
It was
13-year-old
the
died
like
doing
Benadryl
the
challenge or
Benadryl
something.
challenge. Yeah, there's I guarantee you there will be multiple children that do this and probably get hurt because of carbon dioxide poisoning.
yeah.
If this was led to continue like this.
Because I mean, they don't know about that, and they see these guys doing it, like,
No,
oh,
they
that's
they just
fine.
they just see it and they're just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I
I'll
want
try
to do
that.
that.
We'll do that, bro.
I don't know. That's it's ridiculous. But
Either way, whichever one it was that got banned, like if it was this or if it was the GTA shit, like you should know better. Come on, man.
Yeah.
right, like it's yeah. So that's it. I mean, Kai, so Kai Cenat again, banned on Twitch. I don't know if we know how long he's a stay banned for, but they have
It's
banned
indefinite
him.
right now, I thought.
Is it really indefinite?
I
I
heard
thought
at
it
the
was a
moment.
48 hour.
I
I
didn't
don't
think it
know.
was.
I have to double check, but I thought I heard it was indefinite for now.
I would be surprised if that was if they did an indefinite ban. The other thing that I also heard was this, which I don't know if this will show it. Will it show the image? No, the clip is gone. They Kick sent him like these
Yeah,
green shoes. They're like
yeah.
these fully green shoes, obviously now the clip is gone because he was obviously not uh his stream's been banned, but people think that that's also why. I doubt that Twitch banned him for that. Like,
I
I
don't
don't.
know. I don't see Twitch banning him for getting a present from another competing streaming platform, but then again, I didn't really see Twitch using what's his name, Ninja's channel there for a while to advertise their shit either. So they
Yeah,
Twitch can be petty, like 100% Twitch
I
can
mean,
be
no, they
petty.
can.
They're an extremely petty
But
company.
if you're
So
looking at the most recent bans, here as far as like bigger names, right? I'm not gonna like we're not gonna go into like all of the smaller ones, but they banned Meowry, which she's known for
yeah,
very sexual over sexualized content. They banned Forsen known for not sexualized content, but he's known for being very toxic in behavior.
yeah.
Um, they've now banned Kai Cenat.
Yeah.
It's I mean
Is it Kai Cenat or
it's Cenat.
Cent?
No, it's
Nah.
Okay.
Cenat, Cenat.
Yeah.
I've
So
Um,
I've
so
always said Cent.
this is what I found. I don't know the credibility of this Twitter user Feared Buck, but he stated saying Twitch have now indefinitely banned 3 of their biggest black streamers, Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat, and iShowSpeed. So just from what he's stating,
so
it's saying that all 3 of those were indefinite. I don't know what the facts are, if they could just be
two
rumors.
of them, two of them,
Yeah,
100%
2 are Aiden and iShowSpeed.
deserve to be completely banned, and they honestly
Yeah.
should not have a platform to have any type of audience whatsoever. Like, iShowSpeed is one of the. I mean, he's up there with the whole ideology in my mind of like the Aiden Rosses and stuff like that, where
Yeah,
he
and
just.
like the W streamer, all of that kind
I
of
mean,
stuff.
he's just a terrible terrible person when it comes to that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Like using
well,
his
and
community in
one
the
of our
worst ways.
one of our viewers in chat says there's been worse things done than this, and those people have gotten a slap on the wrist. I agree, like 100%. Like Twitch, and then again, Twitch, like it's a dice system,
Yeah.
100%, and that dice system is very heavily catered towards if we like you, you get a higher. So to take it into D&D terms, right? Like if they like you, you have a higher proficiency score than other people. So like when they roll that dice, if it lands on the perma ban, but you got a +8 because they really, really like you, it's not a perma ban.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it didn't dawn on me until now that this may be a way for Twitch to actually clean up their act, and they are actually,
It
you know,
it's a good point. Like it really is. Like I never thought about it either. I never thought about that way. But like if you think about it, coming off of, and I wasn't here last week, so I get to savor the fact that you said that I was right a week later.
they're talking about
Coming
using
off,
their
yeah,
platform.
coming
Yeah.
off the platform last week when we talked about the fact that they're using which is Amazon's streaming service, their
AWS.
Twitch's backend AWS. Yeah, Twitch just might be like, hey, fuck it, we're getting paid one way or another.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
that's
I mean
true.
I mean honestly it is. I mean this is we've said it for a long time that there needs to be kind of like a Twitch after dark or whatever else. And I mean Kick can kind of function as that
Kind of be that.
without
Yeah.
Yeah.
having Twitch, its necessary name behind it. And again, some of the names that are mentioned in here, Amaranth and things of that nature. I mean, those are things that like yes, Twitch they make money off them, right? Like they're a very large money maker, but at the same time, like um they Twitch is kind of at a point where they're like, where are we supposed, what are we supposed to do? Like we're not gonna tell them that they can't do this, right? So at this point now they kind of can be like, you know what, we're not gonna allow, you want to do this, go to Kick. Okay, go to
Well,
Kick and do it over there.
the thing you got to think about it, right, is like when it comes down to like the bigger names, right? So like Kai Cenat now, because he is one of those. Is it? It's Cenat, right?
It is Sonat.
Cenat.
It's
Sonat,
C
yeah.
Okay.
E A T.
You got
Okay.
it.
Kai. I'm just gonna say Kai. When it comes to Kai, he is one of their most popular streamers. Obviously, he rose to power recently. I don't think he is currently one of their most popular streamers, or he wasn't when he got banned. I think
No,
somebody else had
he was
overtaken
the
him.
number one. Nope, he was it. He was the number
Was he
one.
still the
Yeah, I
number one?
believe he was still number one.
So when it comes to somebody of that popularity, you got to look back at the situation that we had with Dr. Disrespect, right? Like they banned Dr. Disrespect, they got him off of their platform. Now he's suing their ass for everything that he can. Granted, there's no guarantee that he's going to win, but he is taking them to court for every penny that he could possibly do, for defamation, for lost revenue, everything like that. He's come out publicly and basically detailed what they're doing. He hasn't said why they banned him, but he has come out and said that they are taking them to court for a lot of damages, right?
Right.
So you gotta think about it, like go down the route of like banning them and have the risk of them taking you to court for damages versus just let them go to Kick because they don't feel like they're being treated correctly
Yeah.
and not have to worry about it.
The other thing too that just blows my mind is when we talk about bans and we're talking about indefinite bans or just content creators in general. Like let's take like Kai Cenat and let's take Dr. Disrespect, right? Two very 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 popular streamers. We could probably argue, or it could be argued as um s- worldwide probably the most popular creators on the planet, right? When we're talking
Yeah.
like name recognition.
Up
And you
there.
look
Yeah.
and you look at like the when I look at this, and yeah, I'm gonna take a stand when it comes to this, and this may be something that people don't like or whatever else, or don't get. But to me, this is not taking content in your craft seriously. This is in my opinion like the reality TV show bullshit where in the early 2000s everything became trash TV, and it just became like
Yeah,
who can outslut
Outdo.
who
Yeah.
can be or whatever else.
very
And
true.
I'm sorry, like, if you're a Kai fan or whatever else, like it doesn't, this type of content is just the jackass style of content, in my opinion, where you have someone like Doc who the art, the craft, the passion, the drive, the amount of dedication that man takes to put into his streams is just insane, right? And I even somebody like I look at like Asmongold, complete opposite direction, where there's not a lot of production value, but the amount of like dedication and how smart and what that guy does when it comes to his content,
Yeah,
like
he he deep dives and crafts, his videos and his content and
right.
everything. I mean, he doesn't put the
Like I don't
the
he doesn't need
production
to he
value
doesn't need to
into it,
pull
but he
in
doesn't need that.
he doesn't need
But
to
he still
pull in
takes it seriously.
a
Is like
dirt
the
bike
thing.
into his house to try to
Yeah,
generate views. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's I don't know, it's just a very eye-opening and saddening thing, in my opinion, when we're talking about kind of what is the most popular content now for you know creators. And I see and working in this industry, I see so many people that are busting their ass making just phenomenal content. And I'll challenge every single person on this cast, the people that we have in our community, like we all put our heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears into what we do. And so many content creators get burnt out or don't get the recognition they deserve because this is what's popular now. And it's like, I'm not going to do this shit. Like I
yeah.
don't want to be yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs. I don't want to be acting like a fool to try to get views. Like that's just ridiculous in my opinion. Um,
For sure.
so I don't know. So anyway,
No,
that we
I agree with that 100%.
we went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I thought it was something that is it's understood when these bans happen and people kind of freak out to look at like not only
Definitely, it definitely needs to be said because
Yeah.
you just jump right to, oh my god, they banned him. What was the reason? And it's like, oh, look at the reasoning. Look at the recent Twitch streams.
right.
What was he doing?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um,
In other news, though, Soldier Boy has been unbanned after 1 year and 4 months. So
Hey,
thank God.
that's
Thank
he can
God.
come on and tell us about his next the Soldier Boy console.
yeah, and then he could ride a motorcycle in his apartment.
The kick news that's out there is not necessarily really as much news as there's a discussion point that I actually wanted to talk about that myself and Scruffy actually talked a little bit about yesterday.
Mhm.
One, they have updated their stuff. They now have they haven't there was an iOS app. Now there is a an Android app, as well as they've updated like their emotes or their badges and some of their chat features. They're becoming more of a not fly by night streaming service and actually having like some features that are like a little bit more usable, but they're still far from being a viable platform in my opinion as far as like having all the features that are needed. But um Scruffy and I talked about this a little bit last night, and I think you know we've poked fun at Kick. We've talked about Kick, and Kick has a lot of issues when it comes to like their degeneracy and like what their like platform is known for and all of those kind of things, stuff that they have to get cleaned up. Um, the What I will say is that out of all of the platforms, in my opinion, if there is a platform that you wanted to just turn on and stream and that was it and didn't want to do anything else and didn't care about anything else and didn't want to have to put any other work and you wanted to get you the best chance of probably being seen by doing the least amount of work, whether those views are legitimate or not, I would say Kick would be the platform to do it.
Yeah, I mean, in its current state, yeah.
I mean,
Compared to like Twitch and YouTube, like I mean, especially just because of how oversaturated both the platforms are, and the amount of effort it takes on YouTube's part of things as well.
yeah, I mean, I think because if you look at like, one, I do want to make sure it is known. It is a known thing that like Kick has view botting issues. The views are inflated. The follows are not real. So a lot of the things that people are going over there and touting about being like, oh my god, like I've done so well and whatever else, like a lot of it is fake. Like it
Yeah,
is not it is not true. Um, but what I'll say is that you could go over there and you have a chance to be seen because there's not a lot there, but you also have to understand like there's a very good chance that Kick might not be around in 6 months to a year, or they don't necessarily care about upgrading their software to make it the best streaming platform. Like it is just a streaming platform because they
Well, not to mention that, but also just the reputation that Kick has been garnering
that's
over the
another thing we were
past
talking
2 or
about.
3 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
especially
when
even
when
just
you
having
think it when you
Aiden
think about
as
it,
their poster
yeah.
child, you know.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about it, like when you go to Kick, I don't care who you are. Like you can sit there and tell me that it doesn't have, you know, porn on it all you want to until you're blue in the fucking face.
Yeah,
I went over there the other
it's
day.
not hard to
We
find.
we went over there the other day and it was left and right. Like there was
Yeah,
no way you could get past it. Like so it's one of those things where it's like if you're looking to make a name for yourself on Kick, you have to take that reputation into consideration when it comes down to like if you do make it to a point where you go and talk to advertisers or brand names, everything like that, like they're going to take into consideration what your past was and where you were before, you know, you moved on to wherever. Like if you move from Kick to like YouTube or if you move from Kick to Twitch, everything like that. So
I mean, I
it's definitely
still
something to take a good look at.
I still hold true that YouTube, in my opinion, if you use the tools that are there, is the best platform overall to be able for discoverability, growth, for viability, and for long term. But you have to use all the tools that are there.
yeah,
Like that. That's the thing that I
Yeah.
think a
yeah.
I've
lot
said
of
that. I've said that from the start. And I said that when you guys moved over that like
You're not going to
Twitch,
YouTube to be a
yeah,
streamer. Like that's not a thing
Twitch is
yet.
like
That's
the ultimate like again, like just like you said before, like you go over there, you turn your fucking OBS or whatever you're using
yeah.
on,
You
you
press a
stream,
button.
you end, you're good to go. YouTube, it's a lot, dude. Like you go
Yeah.
over there, you turn you tune to stream on, you have to worry about thumbnail, you have to
You
worry
gotta make
about
a
settings,
thumbnail, edit
you have to
your
worry
descriptions, edit your
afterwards, you
titles.
have to edit the fucking video down.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
You have
mean
to worry
it's
about short content because they prioritize short content now.
the thing too that that I tell people as well is that, you know, I think and people in chat are saying this, right? Like Kick is blowing up because of the split. And it's 100% right. That is the I will tell you hands down that is the sole reason why Kick is blowing up.
Yeah.
It's not the fact that it's a better site. Like if you look at like what they offer bitrate wise, it's the exact same because they're using, again, to you know attest to Enigma being correct. Like they're using AWS servers, the backend servers of Twitch. Like
Oh.
it is a
Oh,
That
please tell me it
satisfaction.
again.
oh God. They you know, so it's a 800 an 8,000 bit rate cap, right? Which I actually tweeted this out today. And to me, if they were to do this over, yes, they need to modify their TOS, but it would show to me that they actually give a shit about streaming in a way that they want to have people create better content, whether it's so that you can watch porn in a higher definition, or you can watch or you know whatever. But offer 1440p, offer unlimited, like the bit rate that you know that like YouTube is offering, right? Like offer something that actually steps up the you know
You
streaming.
know, I mean, at least like Mixer had like their FTL, and you know they had their ups too,
Right,
and
like
they just you know
Yeah.
they just started out with that as well when they came out as Beam.
so I think like to me, like when you take into consideration all of the negatives that are there and like the easy routes, it just really seems that like Kick is saying, you know what, we can just live off of 95% split, and that's good. And it is going to draw people, and it's drawing people for
Oh
the
yeah,
wrong reasons. And when you know, and I hate that because I have friends that have gone over to Kick and they're like, oh, I found my passion being over at Kick, and I'm like, okay, cool, like I'm happy for you, right? You're go over there, you're you know
Just
you're
chasing the
whatever.
money. That's
But and
like
you
in the
know,
long run.
I'm not going to say that it's not been tempting to look at it and go, maybe I could go over there and start something new or whatever. But when you start to really peel back all the layers, like you start to look at it and be like, this just feels like a cheaper version, like if of you know Twitch or whatever
It's
else
just
with
Twitch. Yeah.
yeah.
you know
To the point of like and we didn't even have this pop just barely. The Kick is copying Twitch's new chat features as well. They just released a thing for their chat features. They have global badges, they have channel
yeah that's
badges, global names,
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna come out with all the features that Twitch has steadily. Like it's
which isn't to say that that's not a bad thing because that's all that YouTube is like.
yeah,
If
that's
YouTube would just do that, if they would just bite the fucking bullet and just adopt a Twitch style chat, they'd be a lot better off. If you ask
it
me.
would be.
well
I think that's the biggest deterrent to YouTube is their
Yeah,
chat and chat experience and
their
with the
chat experience.
interactability.
Yeah.
well that's the whole thing with YouTube in general period is I think that like and what's sad is that you have a site like Kick that is making such a big fuss, right? And they're making a big splash in all of this. And YouTube with a company like Google
I
with
just
all
wish they would see it, man.
they could just literally do the smallest amount of changes into their live streaming platform and blow it all out of the water. Like literally
Yeah.
both Twitch and Kick would sit there with their thumbs in their ass because they're just like I don't know what to fucking do because it is true like discoverability like if they were if YouTube were to go and integrate you know shorts into their to make it very quick, very simple, very easy, right, to be able to add a button that I can hit that automatically does like you know cuts my VOD down into a very quick simple boom, I can automatically cut this out, send it out, like make everything very easy. Holy shit. Like it's done, you know, there's no other place. Why would you go anywhere else? It makes no sense. Like so I don't know, but it is what it is. It's the live streaming platforms. What are you gonna do? They you know, and uh, people say like, and
Um,
we've said that like Kick is needed. Twitch needs Kick, and I think it's. I don't think that's wrong. I just don't know if Kick is if how long Kick can be viable for. I mean, I'll just say that.
I think right now it's more like Kick needs Twitch because they're
Oh, yeah.
using AWS.
we didn't talk about the Kick news regarding their hourly pay rate though, did we?
No,
you
I
see
think
that?
that
I don't think
I
so.
didn't. Isn't that's where they're paying based
Yeah.
off? You can stream for a certain amount of
Um,
hours.
Based off views,
versus-
isn't it?
No, based off of viewers, it's like 100 to 1,000 viewers, or I mean 1,000 plus, like you can get like an hourly pay rate or something like that. I don't know where that tweet went. I think Bill
I
sent it.
wonder how dangerous that's going to be though around what they're going to say that you stream, because they could easily go and say, "Hey," which this is where they can start to step into some serious legality issues. If they go and say, "Hey, we're going to pay you an hourly rate,
I'm
um,
sending this again.
but you have to stream gambling. You have to stream slots, right?"
Right,
Yeah.
right.
At that point, that now becomes like you are in a very dangerous territory for
Especially since like if you're in a state that doesn't support gambling,
well,
like
now that they have here I'll bring this up so chat you guys can see this as well. Do we know who this is? This
I don't. He's got some sources in
okay.
the thread.
Okay, so we're just it's not 100% verified. Just make sure that you guys see that, but it is coming off of Twitter, so take that for a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But Kick will be introducing an hourly paid feature, which will be aimed at streamers holding 100 to 1,000 viewers. Okay, so that's all we got. All right,
That's
well,
yeah.
I mean,
kinda
it's so they can get it. So Stake just launched, and this is what I don't understand either. Stake launched a Stake US website that allows you to be able to get in without having to VPN. Because before you had to VPN into Stake because the United States didn't allow for virtualized gambling. But my understanding is now that because of this website, you are able to gamble inside. I don't know how that works. Like I don't know what I don't know.
I got no idea.
I'd love to be able to get somebody on here that knows legality and legal things when it comes to gambling and those types of things. Cause I can't believe that.
I don't know how that's even legal, considering again, like I live in a state where online gambling and gambling in general is not legal.
But do you guys not have like business centers or
No,
these casino, like gas station casinos, like where you go
no,
in? No. Mm.
no.
Yeah, as
Closest place that you can do that would be 2 hours away, and that's in another state.
as Plague saying here in the chat, time to boot up the view bots and get
Well,
that
yeah,
hourly
I mean,
pay rate of 100.
Right?
That's the
For
other
real.
thing. Like that's the side that it doesn't. It's like until Kick starts taking these things seriously, I'm not
How
going.
how are they going to
consider
implement this with
Right.
what in their current state? You know,
It's hard to consider them a real platform because it's
and,
just
and
like
how is this going to be sustainable with, for them still? I mean, like that's the whole
It's
thing. Is like
not.
with this whole site is there's no sustainability. It's all just backed off of Stake.
well, yeah,
Like they're
but do you know how much
95
money
to 5, their hourly
They make
pay
a
rate, all this
ton of
stuff they're
money,
toting.
dude.
Dude, Stake
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
a shit ton of money. An
Yeah, I
epic
mean-
shit ton. I mean, I hope they have enough to be able to ward off the DMCA stuff because somebody was watching the new
Mario
and all the
movie.
movies, yeah, Mario movie, yeah, Renfield, all of those movies are being streamed. I mean, the literal like the first day Kick popped off, Aiden Ross was streaming the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They still like
That's
still,
not all
like,
he
the
was
biggest thing.
streaming.
Yeah, no, oh no, yeah. It's just
So-
it's just crazy, man.
And then also too, and I know we spent a lot of time on this, but I'll let you guys know, like there's not a whole lot of news, so we have time to be able to spend on this. But it's also, I think, important to talk about these things because I think that you see a lot of YouTube videos, you see
Well,
a lot of creators.
it's not being talked about. Yeah.
right, like
And,
they're
and
just,
especially the fact that like the big content creators like, and I'm not gonna say Harris Heller because I don't think Harris Heller has actually made a video about Kick, but like you've got like Devin Nash and a couple of the other big content creators that deal with like streaming services, and like they do a lot of like the deep dives when it comes down to like when Kick first started, or the situations going on with Twitch versus YouTube and everything like that, right? Like every one of them that I've seen so far has been like, Kick is the new Twitch, go to Kick. And it's like, are you getting paid to say that? Like that's my biggest thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
curious because like when it
I wouldn't
comes out
doubt
of
it.
Devin Nash's mouth, I'm like, usually he does his homework, and that does not appear like he's done his homework.
well,
you know?
you know what this reminds me of, and it came and went, and well, actually, I streamed on this platform for not even a day. It was just one stream just to actually test this out. But everybody lost their shit for Brime. Remember Brime?
Yeah,
Right.
I remember Brian.
Prime
Yeah,
time,
It's
baby.
Brime
prime
time, right?
time.
And that became a big deal. It became a big thing, right? And then the site actually exists. I don't know if it still exists. I don't know if if it's still out there, but it was a functioning streaming site where people were there and streaming on it, but it was just this like fly by night thing. And Kick feels that it is like it just reminds me very much of that, except they actually were like, oh well, we can just easily just like hawk Twitch's shit and
Yeah.
kind of come out there,
Yep.
right? And it feels like it's this again fly by night type of place where it's gotten an audience because they went after the one thing that they knew creators were pissed off about, which was the split, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so it
Well,
feels
they targeted it. They basically sat there and kicked the horse when it was down, right? Like they knew that Twitch is having a rough time right now. Obviously, we all know that. It's no secret that they're struggling at the moment. What's the easiest way to get clicks essentially is to go, "Hey,
well,
we
and
we heard that you don't like the 50-50 split from Twitch.
and
We got a 95-5."
if you
Mhm.
look at like
And it
everything
doesn't get
too,
any
like
shinier than that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is again we're right on Kick's, this is Kick's Twitter, but like if you're looking at it like what they're promoting again, and I'm not saying that this is wrong, I'm just saying it's smart, but you have to, as a creator and as a business person, you have to understand what is it that they're throwing out there and why are they throwing out there. This is like going to a kid and throwing a lollipop at him and saying, hey, this is the best lollipop in the world and you can eat this before you eat your dinner, right? Like you're promoting like Aiden and Dana White gambling on stream, right? Like or whatever else. Like, after all the crap that's been going on with Aiden, why would you continue to back him as your kind of poster boy if you're wanting to become a more legitimate thing? If you're then
Yeah.
you look here and like you look at like what are they doing, like, and this is funny,
careful
right?
scrolling on here, by the way.
I'm not going any farther
For
than
real.
this, but
Yeah.
because this is what I wanted to
Never
find.
know
But
what you'll
like
see.
like
Yeah, especially on Kick's Twitter.
Kick going here and kind of, and again, I'm not going to say like Twitch doesn't deserve to get kicked in the teeth with certain things and get poked fun of, but like I feel like the hyper focus is so much solely on the payout because that's all that they've got. Like
Oh yeah.
you don't have anything else right now to really sit down and say like what else do I have. Your TOS is garbage, your DMCA is garbage, your moderation features are garbage, your streaming features for the most part are garbage and match Twitch. Like the only thing you have is to say like I can give you more money, which is great, but like is that worth it, right? Like you as a creator have to understand, is that worth you know uh your content creation, and
Yeah.
your time. So I don't know. I saw this though, and I was pretty like,
This this does crack me up though, because this just kind of points out to like their company culture as well. Like when it comes down to it, they
They're
have
all about throwing
embraced.
jabs. Is that
Yeah,
is
they
yeah,
have. Well, no,
that's
no, I'm just talking like when it comes down to like that image, they have
yeah.
definitely embraced the W boy or
Yeah.
whatever, the fuck boy mentality essentially.
Oh
When
yeah.
your jab at a competitor is, hey, he's got $1,000 t-shirt. Hey, he's got some $400 jeans.
right. Like, yeah,
You
I mean,
know?
and the crazy thing about it is like, again, I'm not commending Twitch because saying that because they're their 50-50 split. But what I will say is like, Twitch has gotten to where Twitch has gotten because Twitch is Twitch and it's been successful in what it's done, to get to where it is, it's lived long enough to see itself become the villain. But at the same time, you're kind of like that person that's like, oh, well, he's got 1,000, I'm making fun of you because you've got wealth or you've worked hard to get to where you
Yeah.
are. Like, you're such an
Yeah.
asshole. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. So anyway, just be very mindful. Again, that's all we're saying. Be mindful of where you go, where you're posting your content, what you're doing, and each platform on its own right. Because nobody, like, again, I think Enigma hit the nail on the head, and we've said it. All of these creators, all of these places, all of these people, they're not going out there to talk about like the true down and dirty of like what's the benefit. They look at it from a very, very like 70,000 feet up. Do your homework and actually look into it because they all have their viability, but it's what are you willing to do? Like, and where
Right.
are you willing to put
Yeah.
your content? So, yeah. All right. Well, that was a big segment for the Twitch and YouTube and Kick news. So,
A fucking 40-minute long Twitch and Kick.
all right.
Oh yeah.
Clip 5.
All right. Well, moving on to the next section that we are going to talk about.
Clip that, Bill.
There you go, Bill.
45 minutes.
Yeah, can you clip all of that, please?
We move into what we've been playing, and we've got a couple of different games that we've all kind of been messing around with.
You might want to save me until last because I'm still not entirely sure if that
Yeah, I don't even,
if that
Is
has.
it still processing?
I think it's still processing. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'll kick it off and go first. What I have
You got another Dome Keeper?
No. So this is
Oh no, we're good. High definition complete. We're good.
Awesome. Can you send me that link so I can have it?
Yeah, I got you.
But this is Ravenbound. Is one of the games that I've been playing. The Ravenbound actually came out a few about 2 weeks ago. Has it been?
It's been like a month, hasn't it?
Is this not what Enigma? Is this not what you've been playing?
No, that was Raven Watch. This is Ravenbound.
Yes,
Okay.
this is Ravenbound.
It came out roughly the same time, or
it's too many games
around
that
the
are
same time at least.
And
similar shit.
So Ravenbound, I just want to look up. I do want to find out when it came out. So it released on March 30th. Is when it went full release. And it is.
It's been a couple months or a couple weeks.
Yep, it is not in early access. I do think that the game probably would have benefited to go
Should have
into
been early access. Yeah.
honestly, because it's got some bugs that are pretty frustrating, but. Essentially, this game is an open world roguelike, which is not something that we see a lot of when it comes to usually roguelikes are very like linear and run based. This is run based, but it also is, again, as you're seeing, like you take on an aspect of a vessel, and then you are able to turn into this crow and fly around.
Raven. You want to know what?
What?
You take on the vessel of animal people. Okay. Again, sins of fucking
fire. Yeah, sure. I'm a furry. Oh my god. In any case, and you are going around. Excuse me. You're going around.
Took him out with that one.
And you're
he's just like, maybe I am furry, man. Holy shit.
The objective of the game is basically you are building a character. You do that by getting cards based on the character type that you pick, which you can do. Like there's a wolf character, there's a deer character, there is a human. They have a couple other different ones that you can choose from. And you basically fly around these different zones. All the zones are connected, so you're not locked into just one. You can go kind of wherever you want. And as you battle, you pick up these shards that you empower. And then when you empower them, they give you a card. It sounds really convoluted, and to be 100% honest, it is a little kind of complicated, probably more than what it necessarily needs to be. But it is fun. So once you get the cards, you then have to get mana to be able to spend, to be able to use the cards, and the cards will unlock like relics that are permanent upgrades. They will unlock weapons, they will unlock armor, and they will unlock effects. So once you do that and you empower a card, you are then also gaining this thing called hatred. And as you gain hatred, it buffs the rest of the world around you once you get to a certain point. And so you can go to these chests that are red and you can unlock them, and you'll get a temporary hatred. So you can see right there, that chest is kind of glowing red. If I go and I open the chest, I will get like an item that I can use, but I'm going to also gain temporary hatred, which means that the world is now going to become harder around me.
Gotcha. So that's where their like difficulty slope kind of comes into play.
The problem is that when you do that after a certain amount of time, you get permanent hatred, meaning that that slot is now locked out, and you can't you need one less fragment. But every single time that you empower, because you need 3 fragments to empower, every single time that you empower, you now get permanent hatred. And so your hatred is always going up. And the only way to cleanse that is by going and defeating one of the little world bosses that is like called a warden. But when you do, it's very difficult. So it's very like that part of the game is one of the things where I think it's a kind of a downfall because of the permanent hatred and the hatred levels constantly going up. Like
Mm.
it makes it so that you really can't build your character the way that you want to, and you're kind of rushed to try to get this stuff done, but you're not powerful enough to really do the run properly. Kind
So
of
it sounds
thing.
like they kind of might need to like balance that time, that like threshold, because I mean that's kind of like reminding me of like, you know, like For the King, how they have their
Yeah.
like their levels. They're like, was it like, I can't remember, Doom or Plague or something, whatever that
The
is.
plague or whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah, you
The
know,
corruption.
the corruption, yeah. But they and that was timed pretty well in that game, you know, where you could still like, it was difficult and it can creep up fast on you, but you can still
Well,
gear your
it
character
also
up and keep moving
well
forward, you know.
it also had ways of like getting rid of the corruption as well.
Well, yeah, but
as
so
you
does
were
this.
playing and
Like Sim
stuff.
was saying, like killing the wardens would get rid of
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Is
would
that
get
the
rid of
only way that you can get rid of the hatred, or
that
do
I
they
have
actually
found.
have
So
like?
that you've
so
found so far?
you can go to a spot where it's called the tear of something, and it will cleanse a certain amount of the chests around, because the only two ways of getting abilities, or well, there's three ways of getting cards. You can defeat enemies, which drop fragments, which you then empower, but that gives you hatred. You can open a chest that has hatred on it, and you will get a card. But obviously, you have now gotten hatred. Or you can go to a city and you can buy it. The problem is that the only way to buy something is you have to be able to have the cards to sell them or fragment or drain them or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like so, eh, because all of it is stacking in this idea around fighting and unlocking these chests, you can go to one of these tears and cleanse the chest, but it only cleanses in a very small area, and there's only
Right.
one per like zone. And once you cleanse it, and which you're about to, I think you're about to see here, I'll go to this one area and I cleanse, and you go and you fight, and then it cleanses it, but it literally only cleanses it like in this little valley. So anything outside of this valley, everything is still, I still have
It's
hatred.
still up in the hatred levels,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So it again, it's a fun game. It
The
handles
world
okay.
is impressively like big, like
Yeah,
large, like the scale of things.
it's not bad. The other thing that I have an issue with too with the game is because it is so large, and they do dot it with a bunch of stuff. Like
Hmm.
you're enticed to go and fight and to go, really have at it
But
and
that just
explore.
builds up hatred.
Right, but now you're kind of fucking yourself because
Right.
you really can't just keep gaining cards, gaining cards, gaining cards, because you will permanent, like in one of my runs, I permanently locked myself to 2 hatred, and I basically was making the game so difficult that I couldn't progress. Past a certain point. So that is a downfall. The other thing that kind of sucks, where I think that they need to, this is easy patches they can fix, but like I was in one of the fights where I cleared the area for the tier. So what happened is it triggered a cinematic. The cinematic pulls out. There's enemies still inside there that are wailing on me, and I died and ended my run. Because
Jeez.
I couldn't control my character during the cinematic, but I was still getting hit. So
That's an oversight. That's
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of like little things that are frustrating when it comes to the game. But all in all, I mean, it really is fun. I've had a lot of good time with it. Like the combat system, has some fluidness to it. There are some issues where you do get hit kind of off screen, where you can't see stuff coming at you. You do have to like time, like you're seeing here, where like I have a bubble that I cast, and it allows me to be invulnerable and stagger an enemy. But you can also dodge and get frenzy. So like there's a lot of different like status effects. They've thought about a lot of those things really, really well, and um it's fun. I just think that there's some quirks to it with it, and unfortunately, it actually runs like dog shit on the Steam Deck, which is really sad because this is a game that I think would be really good on a Steam Deck.
right.
But I mean, all in all, I think, let me see what the price wise. It's 30
It's
bucks.
30
I,
bucks, yeah.
I think it's a little much for 30 at its
This
current
is
state.
this is made by the same people that made Generation Zero and that Second Extinction. You remember that game?
Yes.
Yeah, I played that.
I would say that this is
That one
definitely
was rough.
better. This is definitely better than Second Extinction, for
Yeah.
sure. And they also have
Which is surprising me because Generation Zero I heard was really good. I know that a lot of people complained about
I
it
think
because
it
it was a little
started out
janky,
rough.
but
It
yeah.
started out janky, but it got better.
um
What I heard.
what the other thing I'll say too is that they do a very good job, at least with the roguelike element, that if you die, like you're accumulating these things that allow you to unlock more cards and character traits that allow you to
Mhm.
make your run better, but there's still nothing that deals with hatred, which is the overlying, like I think honest to God, if they were to either temper that back or get rid of permanent hatred, I think it would make the game a lot better. But the enemy
Yeah.
types, there's a lot of variety, trolls and casters, and the world is pretty and it's fun to play in. I just think that if you're gonna buy it for $30, just be prepared to understand like there are some flaws in it, and they're patching it. They just came out with a new patch today, or
Yeah, like you said,
yesterday.
I definitely think it would have benefited them to come out in early access.
Oh, for
Definitely.
sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
This
then
is
they
this
could
is
at
one
least use that
I've
as a saying, you know.
I've had my eye on it for a while, and I was kind of under the same assumption as like they released it. I saw it was for $30, and I was like, I think I'll wait until it
Yeah.
goes on sale because like it looks good, it looks fun, but yeah, like I watched you play it, I watched Crow Templar play it, and a couple of other content creators that I watch play it. And it's just it is extremely janky in some aspects.
Yeah. Oh, for
So
sure. So, but that is Raven Bound. The other one that where is my mouse? The other one that I have been on. Let me make sure that I've got that lined up. Yes, I do. Is a game called War Tales, and actually, this surprised Enigma quite a bit that
it
I am
did,
actually
man.
enjoying this game.
Is
Um,
I've never seen you play like a top down RPG RTS style game or
I
whatever
could
you
see
want to
some of
call
the
this.
draw though,
the, the,
because it's
the,
got some of that turn-based like strategy
Yeah.
involved.
so the big thing about this, so one, this game actually was in early access for a while, almost I want to say close to a year, if not 2 years,
Think it's been out for a
um,
year. Yeah.
and it has now gone 1.0, and it the this game absolutely is a blast. So what this is essentially it's another open world game. It's an open world RPG where you lead a group of mercenaries around, and you're basically exploring the world, recruiting companions, collecting bounties. Um, One thing that I really, really like about it is that it's not high fantasy. It's very grounded, right? It's very like visceral combat, hand to hand, actual like there's no magic. You're not casting spells, all of that kind of stuff. You do have like taunts and things of that nature, but nothing that's like crazy. You're not going to cast fireball or whatever that's in it. But
Fireball.
the premise of the
What you're
game
saying is that you got the Knights of Ni that are up on the castle going,
The Knights
I
of
exactly.
spit on your
Mir.
mother.
This is I would almost say like the game is I don't want to it's not a roguelike because obviously you're not there's not it's not run based. But it adds these elements of like, what you do matters, and if your party like if your person dies, unfortunately Medic was he was our trusty wolf. He ended up dying, but I was able to bury his body, and then I got perks off of burying his body because I was able to mourn his loss. Like the game surprisingly is pretty in depth with like adding different abilities and different attributes, and all the characters
What
feel
was that one
unique.
game we played? That like paper style game that sounds just
uh
like that kind of.
yes, so what was that
Oh
with
man.
with
W-
um I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
But very much so. Um, the biggest thing that I think people are going to have a problem with this game is that it is it's a slow going. Like it's not like there's always
Yeah.
something happening, but like it is a slower paced game. You're not just going to like jump in and kind of Divinity Original Sin, right? Like it has elements of that where like you're casting you're turn based, all this other kind of stuff, but I don't know, man. I can't speak highly enough of this
Wilder
game.
Myth. That was it.
Wildermyth, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just so much fun. Like you have this whole suspicion thing. You have to worry about like your characters fatiguing and making sure that they're staying fed. Also that they're making sure that they're staying paid. You have like this element where like I wasn't expecting to have a crafting system or like a mining system that was this in depth. Where like well, it's not super in depth, but like you click on something and your person goes up to it and then you have like a little mini game. Like I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting to click on it and say mine it, yes, mine it, great. But like when you're crafting, you have to hit the blacksmith anvil at a certain time to get higher stats, and like everybody has like all of the different like points that they like somebody or they don't like somebody, and they get bonuses based off of that. Enigma, you became like, or no, Bill has become like the man, but like he has now become like our captain, and I was able to promote him. And Enigma, you became like our leader, and I became our lieutenant, and I'm like our banner lord. Like all of these little side
Sin's
things.
little bitch that carries around her banner,
Oh my
bro.
god. Well, it gives us some morale boost, you ass. So but all of the little
Little
I'm
fine
flag
surprised.
boy.
I'm surprised. What?
I said little flag boy.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, no, not the other way around.
Wow.
Woo. All
Wow.
right.
Flag, LAG.
Yeah, let's just clarify that. This came out weird. Alrighty. Anyways,
This is also another element too, is where they like the environment around you actually is engaging. So like you can see this little red circle. We're in a storm, so a lightning strike's about to happen. So like you can position people to make sure that they actually like push them back or stay in that circle to take damage. It honestly, every single time I have played it and booted it up, I have found something new that was not there before, and like is well thought out. Like it's a really, really, really fun game. It's $26 right now, I think, on sale. Normally it is 35. I would honestly say full price, it's worth $35. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. You can have it's co-op as well, so it's 4-player online co-op. I don't know how that works whenever you gain more companions, because obviously you can have, I think I have like 8 companions right now in my party.
I think it just locks you to 4,
Does it? I would
if
be
I'm not
surprised,
mistaken.
because
Yeah.
if that's the case, like the game gets very difficult, like very quick. I was in a fight yesterday where I had 8 like boars, so trying to manage that with 4 guys, I think would be impossible. So I would like to try it. So if anybody picks this games up, I would love to be able to play with you, because I want to see what that co-op looks like. Because I think you actually can control multiple people inside the group. But um, yeah, it's XCOM meets Divinity meets For the King is a kind of way I've been explaining it. Worth every penny. It's fucking phenomenal. So
Nice.
there
nice.
you go.
Yeah.
That is War Tales. All right.
Keep thinking of DuckTales.
DuckTales.
DuckTales. Ooh.
All right, let's talk about this hot piece of garbage, please. We talked about this a little bit last week, but let's we actually got hands-on time with X Defiant. So
Yeah, more of me. Sin didn't get too much of
I
hands-on
couldn't.
time.
I couldn't. Like the game legitimately hard. It shot my CPU up to 100%. Every single I uninstalled it, I verified it, I tried finding fixes. It would just I would go to change class immedially, boom, 100% free. The only way I could do it is restart my computer. So
that's tough,
Scruffy,
man. I mean, I've heard of
played
people.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I heard of people, having problems, but that sounds kind of like a you problem.
It's definitely not a me problem, because because people are talking about it.
No, the game is jank, y'all. I mean, it's jank. It works better than it has in previous playtests. I mean, we talked about it last week. If you don't know, by the way, this is X Defiant, Ubisoft's newest arcade shooter, and it's I don't know, it's okay, man. I'm getting more enjoyment out of it than I thought I would. I've played it in the past in previous playtests, and I thought it was absolutely horrid. It ran like doo-doo. It wasn't entertaining. The game modes, the guns, everything. But in this newest playtest, at least, well, it still runs like doo-doo, but at least the guns and the gameplay and the maps are a little bit better.
It still runs like doo-doo.
Did you see me reload with my third hand? I swear. So just an example, if you caught that.
It still runs like doo-doo. It just runs like hot doo-doo.
Yeah, I mean, it's playable doo-doo. But I don't know. I definitely, I think it's got promise. I think it can live up to this like kind of arcade shooter that we don't have nowadays, because everything's so like every shooter that we have nowadays has got to have so much ingrained in it you know, whether it be a wave of battle passes, events, store full of microtransactions that give you boosts and stuff like Modern Warfare is doing now. And all these little intricate details where it's like you can customize a weapon, but you can add like 10 attachments and plus tuning, plus, you know, all of this other stuff. So this game kind of takes it back a little. It's still got a lot of that, but it's not as like in depth and like it isn't as like convoluted, I guess.
I mean,
But
right now at least, like I guarantee once it
right now
releases,
at
it will.
least. Yeah, I mean,
I don't
only
think it
time will
will.
tell. I don't think it will.
I don't
It's
think
it's
they're-
Ubisoft, bro. Like 100%.
But I
it
mean,
will.
but Rainbow Six is Ubisoft. They're not like crazy in depth with all their
Yeah,
mechanics
but
and all.
Rainbow Six is a hardcore fucking player base that won't accept that. Like 100%, they're gonna
Well,
try
yeah.
on this.
I don't see them
I don't
going down the
know. I don't
route of
think
like
so.
I'm not saying they'll go down a battle pass route, they'll go down a store
They
route
will.
like that. I'm
Yeah,
not talking about that,
that's-
but I don't think
that's
they're
gonna
going to go
happen.
down the route of like trying to make it where you know they have all of this fine tuning and like overly
Yeah.
complicated systems in the actual
Oh.
gameplay.
I wasn't talking about that. I was
No,
talking about
they'll have a
fucking
battle pass. They'll have a
microtransactions.
They'll have
Yeah,
all.
they'll
Yeah,
have
they'll
all
have
that.
all that. Every game.
It's
you know,
free to play. It has to
and
have
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
for
I mean,
sure.
It's free to play and it's pulling in player. It's pulling in what's it called? Factions from every one of their games. Like 100%.
Yeah, there's no shot a game, a shooter specifically, comes out in today's age and doesn't have a battle pass and all those features. But no, mechanically wise, like I don't think it's going to be overly complicated and saturated with all these like intricate mechanics. But I think that's like a good thing, you know, because it kind of takes it back to like the roots of like the old like early 2000s like shooters, you know, arcade shooters. Back to like for me, it's giving me like Black Ops 2 vibes. People are saying like, you know, it's Black Ops 3, kind of Black Ops 4. I just didn't play those, but like, so I'm getting like that old like COD vibe from it. I like that. That's like actually something that's kind of like drawing my attention, and I'm enjoying it for what it is. And what I really do think they should play off that as heavy as they can, because I think that's where their market will lie. I don't think they should make this game a competitive shooter more than what, like, you know, just being an arcade shooter is. Like, they have their ranked mode. They can have their ranked mode and still not be a competitive shooter. I'm saying like the pro scene. I don't think they need to get into like all the pro, like, you know, a CDL league, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, esports. They don't need to do any of that. I don't think. I think they just play off what they have, being, you know, this almost nostalgic timed shooter, and just, you know, go with that and thrive off their MTX and their battle pass and all that kind of stuff, and just keep updating the game with new maps and guns and well, maybe operators. I don't know. I don't know how large that market is for like their operators, because I know they're doing like the Splinter Cell and like their other
That's
games.
gonna be huge because they can pull from all of their games. They can pull all
Yeah,
the
they could
franchises.
they could even pull like
So
Division now too.
well, they've already got Division.
Yeah,
in
they
there.
have. We don't have
Is
the
that
ones they have. They don't have the. That's the cleaners.
Cleaners, the
yeah.
cleaners,
the
yeah.
cleaners. They had the
that's right.
cleaners. The healers were from the Division.
No, the
Yeah.
healers are from Far Cry now. They're not in the
Oh,
division
although
anymore.
when I played, the healers were from the Division.
Yeah,
They were
from
throwing out
the hive
like
bombs,
the ball
right?
the
Yeah.
ball heals and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what they have is a good solid base. They just really need to work on some
solid.
major. No, I mean for the idea.
Okay.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say is they heavily need to work on their stabilization, their optimization, their tick rate, and their hit
Oh,
reg.
Dude,
Those like 4 key things, if they just nail those, then I think it can actually live in this state of thing. I would never say it would thrive. I don't think it would ever thrive. I think it will live in the state of shooters at the moment.
So you know what? I think with the because I know that you've played like Quake Arena or you've played the Quake or the Unreal games. Like,
Yeah.
it's not as fast paced, but that's what the maps feel like. That's what the pacing kind of feels like as far as
Yeah.
like just the style of it's a shooter. Like it's a Twitch shooter. It's because I don't even like. I think people are saying like, you know, and like you said, like it goes COD and the MW2 and the Black Ops 3 days. I actually think it goes farther back than that. Like it reminds me more
Yeah.
of like the old school like Wolfenstein, kind of style days, and they've added in
I don't know about
the
that.
what
So I don't know about that. I don't see Wolfenstein and
I'm
Quake
talking
when I'm
I'm talking
watching
about like
this.
the mapping and not like the ability. I'm just talking like the mapping and like the gunplay and like the layout, like the way that it feels to shoot and to move. It feels like those old school arena days.
Yeah.
Whereas with like the thing that I think is a detriment and I think it's going to be miserable for them to do is the balancing because they have the class systems. Like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
healers are
I mean,
fucking way
already
too
you're
over
seeing
Well,
the
tier.
healers are
we went,
crazy.
yeah, you guys were already talking about it last
Yeah.
week where you were saying the healers were just like overpowered as shit, and
Yeah.
that's gonna you're gonna have that kind of a situation when you go down a hero shooter route.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's where the game actually falters in the sense that to me, I don't know why they
Yeah.
necessarily need to lean into that.
I
Well,
don't
like they could have just said
I
these.
don't under I've always said that as well from when it first released was like I don't understand why they went with a hero shooter. They could have stuck with the theme that they wanted to go with where it was like you're playing as like the different factions from the different video games and not made it a
Yeah, it's
hero
just
shooter.
skins.
You
It's
could
just
it
Yeah.
had
skins.
just been skins. Yeah.
And maybe you could make it to where like these guys have like an EMP grenade, or some, maybe something
I think
along
they
those
could have gone
lines.
down a
But
route of like what Battlefield 2042,
For
is
sure.
doing
Yeah.
with the
right,
specialists. It's nothing like overly created with like ultimates and abilities and all that kind of stuff and
Well,
cloaking.
Battlefield
Um,
42 when it first released had a really bad issue with balance as well for some of
well,
those,
you had
if I
like
remember
Pike that was a
correctly.
problem. You had like the
Yeah.
yeah,
healer.
yeah,
They've
but
I don't
definitely
know
still,
if
it
fixed
they've
it.
wasn't.
I don't know if they've fixed that in the recent seasons or
Oh,
not,
yeah, it
but
has.
It's gotten better.
It's
Yeah,
gotten
it's
a lot
gotten a
better.
lot
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
that's good.
But still, like compared to this, like they didn't have all these special abilities and quirks to the kit, to the specialists, the characters. So I think they could have went down that route. I will say at least it seems like they've toned it back a little bit, and maybe it might just be from like the earlier play tests when I played the earlier ones. Like I felt like people were popping abilities left and right, and it was just like that's like at
They
that point
were.
like it's like
Yeah.
Overwatch. Now it's a little more like focused on the shooting and with like a side of like abilities. Granted, still there's going to be that balancing because there still is going to be those abilities that are overpowered. Um, you know, with the healers
I
and the
do
alts and
think
stuff, but the alts don't charge as fast, and so you're not seeing abilities like popping off left and right every which
yeah.
way, which I can kind of I like that more.
I do think it
I
would
dig it.
I do think it would be more not indicative, but I think it would be more of a beneficial route for them to go down, getting rid of the hero shooter and just going down
I think
skins
so too.
personally. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just think
I
it should
just
be a
don't.
shooter. And the other thing that I don't understand either, too, why they chose to do this is they leaned into adding attachments that give like, a 0.5% or 5% like
Yeah,
ADS
there's some
speed.
weird.
Like I just don't understand it. Like I don't get like it is okay. And this is actually what I'm most excited for about playing Dead Island 2 because which comes out tonight, but is because
17 minutes.
it is literally a game that
epic
is
chills.
oh my god, that it's going back to like, you know what? We're taking away all the stuff. We're not going to do open world. We're not like I think they overcomplicated it. Like just give me a shooter
Yeah.
where I can put on a silencer, I can
Yeah.
put on an optic and I'm done. And I can put on
and,
maybe
and
a
that's what I
mag.
was saying, and I'll say like this game, it still has that, but it's still nothing compared to like,
Not
all these other
COD
shooters
or
and,
anything,
and stuff we have today. So I'll give them props for not being absurd in that aspect, but I still agree that it could do without.
Especially when you're talking about Ubisoft, who notoriously has balancing problems. Like
Oh yeah,
I think adding more
Siege
stuff to
hasn't
that
been
is
balanced ever. It's always gone through like metas and
yeah.
changes.
I don't think like to me, I think that this is a game where we actually could have gone and leaned into like it's a skill versus like I think that's what does CS Counter-Strike so well because it really is like you have to learn the maps and the spray pattern,
Maps, the patterns, yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's skill versus the gun. Like at a certain point, they're like, and the sniper in this needs to be fucking tweaked. Like it's there's no flinch and it's an instant one shot kill. And people, when we're talking about like COD right now, where people are wanting a one shot sniper, and then you can come to this and get a one shot sniper. It's the balancing on it is completely overpowered. Like it's ridiculous, and it leans itself for cheating. The mounting system in this is not good.
The mantle.
Yeah,
Is
the
that-
mantling system.
Oh god, it's horrendous.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that I think is wrong. This is You know what this cast honestly feels like? It feels like we talked about Kick where they're hitting on just one specific thing and they're banking on that. This is like everybody is so sick and tired of like the BRs and all these over the top kind of crazy shooters, and
Yeah.
they're banking on like we're an arena shooter, we're taking it back.
Yeah.
And it's
And
not
they're
good.
banking on all the hate that COD's getting.
Right. So it's not great. It's not phenomenal, but it's because the only other option that we have is this
Yeah.
shitty game. We're kind of like, oh, well, this is great, right? Like I'm going to play this because it feels good, you know, like
Yeah.
it's
And it's not great, but that's all we have.
right. That's it, you know, which is kind of crazy. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say anything else about X Defiant.
I like we already covered most, a lot of it last week too. So I mean, I don't know. I'm at least enjoying this playtest among the other ones. So I am open to it now than more so than I was before. So we'll see with future playtests. I don't even know how close this game is to being
Who knows?
released. I have no
Who
idea.
knows? So.
Knowing Ubisoft, it'll get canceled. or they'll
That-
or they'll just continue to push it back like Skull and Bones.
Very, very plausible. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was X Defiant. Hold on a second, Enigma. Let me pull yours up because we've got the clip now. All right. So this Enigma, you are playing Minecraft Legends.
Yeah, it released on I believe Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember which one.
Game Pass and everything too, right?
Yeah, on Xbox Game Pass. I believe it's on PlayStation as well, if I'm not mistaken. So
That chick on the left looks kind of sus.
she's got four eyes. Yeah, it's so Minecraft Legends. I've had my eye on it for about 5 or 6 months. I think I first heard about it on the Xbox Games Showcase, if I remember correctly. When we saw it on the showcase, I originally thought it was going to be like like an RPG almost, and you can skip ahead a little bit towards the actual gameplay.
I had no
only
idea
did,
what
like,
this game was going to be, honestly.
yeah, well, nobody did. That's the thing is like that's what I was about to get at. Is like a lot of people were like, oh, it's going to be like a Skyrim
I thought it was going to be like an open
RPG,
world,
like an
Minecraft
open world
Dungeons.
RPG. Yeah. And a lot of people were like, it's going to be something like that, or it's going to be, like a tower defense game or something. A lot of people were just like, what the hell is this game supposed to be? And nobody knew. And Mojang, and what I have something to ask you guys. Do you guys call it Mojang or Mojang?
Mojang. It's always been
I
Mojang
call
to
it
me.
Mojang.
Okay, so Sid
Whatever.
calls it Mojang because he's a hipster. What
Yeah.
I think it's Mojang. I have always called it Mojang.
It's Mojang. I don't care.
It's weird. Anyways, I'm
GIF,
sorry.
GIF,
It's
I got off-
Mahjong.
Yeah, GIF,
Gyro,
exactly. So
whatever.
a lot of people were in the same kind of boot where it was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, I don't know what it is. It
I
is
thought this
nothing.
was
It
going
is
to be
none of
their,
that.
you know what? I really thought this was going to be like their rebuttal to Hytale, is what I
Yeah,
thought it was going to be.
and that was again like a lot of people were thinking like it was going to be like an RPG, like an action RPG
Yeah.
or something along those lines. It's not. It's an RTS. It's
Yeah.
like an
Out of
action
nowhere.
RTS. An action RTS tower defense game like builder.
It's such an
right?
interesting thing because
It's
like it's
a
marketed
very
towards kids
yeah.
still.
It's a very strange like
So-
combination, right? And like when I first opened it, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. It's like baby's first RTS.
yeah, essentially.
But it actually is surprisingly like when it comes down to like an RTS game, it does a decent job with it. Like I was actually really impressed because like when you come from Minecraft Dungeons, when we played Minecraft Dungeons, I didn't like Minecraft Dungeons personally. I felt like it was it was okay. It was a good game, but it was definitely baby's first
lacking,
action
yeah.
RPG, and it was
Yeah.
very lacking in a lot of content, right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
one I think kind of still holds that same aspect to it. Like it's a competent RTS,
Like
but
you're only
it's
going to be able to get
still-
so much out of it.
it's
like,
still lacking a lot of content.
Yeah.
Yeah. From what I've seen and from what I've played so far, like you really don't have a lot of a lot of like meat on the bone, right? Like you get like the base level first couple of missions, and then pretty much once you've done those first couple missions, it just becomes an RTS game that you like the old StarCraft games. Like the only thing with the StarCraft games is that it had like a competitor, a very, very in-depth like single player storyline to it, right? Granted, it's Blizzard. They're known for their storylines, but like this one doesn't seem to have like a huge storyline. It's very very pointed. Like you get into the action, you get done with it all very quickly, and then it's just a rinse repeat essentially. But I think they still hold very true to what Minecraft has, where it's like the world is fully randomly generated. So every time that you load into a new world, the world is randomly generated, and the placements of the piglin outposts is randomly generated, right?
Mm.
But essentially, again, you're essentially doing the exact same thing over and over again. You get dropped into a world, you have to go and take care of these piglin outposts. Every night, the piglins attack your outposts, so you have to build defenses around your base. You have to build defenses around these villagers' bases as well, and you have to defend those bases too. And in doing so, you have to like summon these little dudes that are behind me, right?
I was
You
just gonna
have
ask, like, what
several
are
different
those?
versions.
That's what
Yeah,
I was
so
gonna ask.
these are like your little like helpers. You basically essentially take these guys in. They do all the combat for you. So when you go to attack the piglin bases, you have to spawn these guys in, and then you basically go into like this RTS mode where you're up above and you can kind of tell them where to go and what to attack, what to focus on, where to charge, et cetera, et cetera.
Is this like some sort of
So
tower defense mode too right now?
yeah,
Like
like that's what I'm saying. Like this is like the defense style where you have to build
looks like
like
kind of like a
structures
Tribes of
around.
Midgard-ish, like
Ki- Not
like what it
not
started out
really,
as.
but yeah, not really, but like in some instances, right? Like again, I took it to an extent. Like they just wanted me to put down towers, and I
Yeah.
started building walls. But yeah, like the full game, you can just build whatever the fuck you want to around these villages, and then you can upgrade the villages, from what I understand, to have like I it allows you to gather like iron ore and diamonds and everything like that, and that allows you to upgrade your minions. It allows you to upgrade your equipments.
Just
So
build a
it's
wall on
just
top
a
of a tree.
yeah, pretty yeah,
It's
pre-built
like
wall, man. It's
not
wood.
not my job kind of thing. Just build around
So
it.
yeah, that was the biggest thing that a lot of people had an issue with though, was like nobody knew what the fuck it was, and
Yeah.
Mojang was like not really forthright with like what they were planning it being. They were just kind of like it almost reminded me of No Man's Sky, where they were like, "Well, isn't it an RTS game? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
is
really
it a
I
tower
really
defense? Yeah."
yeah. I really think Mojang is pulling like a riot, you know. They're trying to come out
They
with
are,
like
man.
every genre of game, but more
Well, and
marketed towards kids. It's like
yeah,
Riot,
that's what
but
I was
like
about to say.
marketed
I
towards
don't
kids.
I don't necessarily dislike it, because like I'm an uncle. I've
Yeah.
got a my little nephew. He's 9, almost 10. And he's been wanting me to play Minecraft Dungeons, and I'm like, man, I wish this kid was old enough to be able to play Diablo, because I would much rather play
Yeah.
Diablo. But that's exactly what these are. Is they're like the entry level into like RTS games.
Yeah.
So
So I
like
mean,
I
you
I
can't
could
hate
I
on
could
it.
tell I
I
could tell
mean,
my nephew to be like, okay, you're gonna play this. Next, we're gonna play StarCraft,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's what
So
I was
That's
gonna
a
go
big
into. Like
jump.
it's kind of
it is, but that's what I'm saying is like again, it's baby's first step. You can
yeah.
you can kind of build forward on it.
All
Like
right, play
he
10
he
minutes
likes
of
yeah.
this, and then all right, let's go play
play
StarCraft, the
play
real
15 minutes of this, and we're gonna
yeah.
load the real fucking RTSs up. Let's go, kid. Get your big boy pants on.
Yeah.
I mean, what I will say about Mojang and what they do and these types of games, right? Like they still, even though they're they are limited in scope, and like Minecraft Dungeons, they didn't
Yeah,
really, it wasn't super fleshed out. It's still what they did and how they
it was
accomplished it.
impressive.
They still
Yeah.
did a very good job. Like it's polished, it feels good. Like watching this, I'm like, oh, this is something you could jump into and play, and it's perfect for the Game Pass. Would I spend, I think it's $40 on it outright?
I
No.
yeah, I definitely wouldn't spend the money on
You
it
know,
for full price. At
Was
least
it
not right now.
did you get this on
Go ahead.
Game Pass?
I did get this on Game Pass, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So
I
I would definitely not spend the full price for it. But like when it comes down to like the other thing I'm impressed with Mojang is that like Minecraft Dungeons, if we went back to it today, it's nowhere near what it was when we first played it. They've done a lot of updates to it, from
That's
what
I've heard.
what I understand, and
I
it's
heard they
actually
also
been fleshed
they
out fairly
opened up
decently.
modding to that too. Like that's what
I
I don't know if
I'm not
that's
entirely sure
true.
about that, but
I thought they.
It
I
wouldn't
thought somebody
surprise
said
me.
they
That
opened
would
up
be
modding.
yeah impressive.
Considering the amount of modding support that they have in Minecraft, that would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah,
I'm all for it, man. I think they continue to
it's
do this
a
kind of
it's
stuff.
honestly like it's a competent RTS. It does the base level of what an RTS is well. You build your base up, you build your units up, you attack shit. That's what
Right.
an RTS is, you
Yeah.
know?
Is
So
it multiplayer or is
I
it
think
single player?
it is multiplayer. Yes, it is
Oh, nice.
multiplayer. It's PvP, I believe. It's like
Oh
the old
wow.
StarCraft stuff where you go against each other essentially. And
That could
from
be
what
kind
I've
of fun.
seen, I watched a couple of content creators, a couple of Minecrafters play this. It was like 4 versus 4, if I remember correctly. I think that's the max people that you can have on a PvP. And it looked like it was extremely fun. Like one person was out collecting and base building while two other people were out, going out and destroying piglin villages to get the emerald from the piglin villages. And then you had just one dude that was being that dude running into the other bases and fucking up the other bases every once in a while.
That's
So
I think it's cool. I will have to
it's
download
a
this and
good
give it a
game,
shot.
man. Like legitimately, I would actually really like to play it co-op with some guys because I think that you can play the just the base game, like the co-op or not the co-op, the storyline. I think you can play the storyline co-op as well.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to.
So
I'll have to download it and give it a shot. That's cool.
Yeah.
they did a really good job with it. I'm very surprised with it. It's the only complaints that I have about it would be I don't like how far spread out everything is because like my original video that I uploaded was like an hour and I only got like 3 piglin villages done, right? So like the amount of movement that you have to take to get from one piglin village to the other is insane. And
Right.
you can as you're running, you'll run into these little patches of grass that make you go faster, but you constantly have to be looking for those patches of grass to keep that buff up, and that's annoying.
Well,
And then
I was gonna say that this game though it did give me a slight PTSD when I was watching your video. The first thing I heard like out of the gate or whatever was "Hurry, this settlement needs your help," and I'm like, "Oh
yes,
God,
yep,
oh Preston,
yep,
Preston still haunts
yep,
me to this day."
100%. She'll be like, "Hurry, hurry! The settlement needs your help. The villages are dying." And it's like, Preston, leave me the fuck alone. I got to build
Right.
my settlement, bro. Like, come on, man. Yeah,
Just
no,
Fallout things
100%.
for anyone
So,
who doesn't
so
know.
that's another one that's kind of annoying. And then
Yeah.
their menus and like when you go up in like the RTS mode, which I think you have to hold control for the and I don't know if this was just the settings that I had because I tried messing with the mouse sensitivity a little bit, but it is extremely sensitive. Like you can barely move your mouse and you just go flying. So I think they've got a couple of issues. I think it was built more to be
Probably
a
Controller.
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a controller or even like a Steam Deck purchase of some sort, like a
Oh
Steam Deck
yeah.
Play. But yeah, it's competent. It's a decent RTS. I was pleasantly surprised with it. I definitely want to play it a little bit more, and
Cool.
it's on Game Pass, so you
There you go.
really don't have any anything to worry about it.
Nice. Well, there you go.
So
That is Minecraft Legends, everybody. All right. Well, now we are moving into the news section, and we're going to talk about a couple things fairly quickly, but also too we've got some new stuff came out. I do want to show this off. This is actually the Division 2. I think this was like today, right? Didn't they just like
this
announce this
was
stuff like
literally today. Yep.
they announced a new mode coming out, which here's what I want to say about the Division 2. And normally we wouldn't like show a trailer off or like a new mode like on the news section, but I gotta give it to Ubisoft here where we kind of cracked them with X Defiant, but they have supported the Division 2 for like
They really
well
have,
well
man.
into like 6 years now, and it's still
I'm
getting stuff.
I'm like honestly surprised with it in comparison to like the Division 1. Like Division 1, they released those.
They're like
I
two
think they had
expansions.
3. I think they
Yeah.
had like 2 or 3 expansions and then it was
Yeah.
done.
And they
That
kind of
was it.
abandoned it. Yeah.
But this they have a 5-year plan for this. And I think they're in year 5. I think
Yeah.
this is the 5th year or the 4th year. I'm not entirely sure.
I
but
honestly, I really wanted to get into the Division 2, but I couldn't when it came out, and I feel like I missed it at that point. So
I don't think
this
so.
might be a decent time to get into it because like
maybe,
this
yeah.
dude, I don't know if do we want to start talking about the actual what's in this
Yeah,
update?
go ahead. Yeah, this is just
So like this,
Trilla's
the
own loot.
Descent, the free roguelite mode that they're bringing out for Descent, I essentially you drop in with nothing. So
That's
you
cool.
start out with nothing, you go in there, you pick up loot as you're going through it, and you make a build as you're in the roguelike
You know, and I like that they
dungeon,
actually
essentially.
classify it as a rogue light. They actually
Yeah.
know the difference, it seems.
Yep. And so that's that. They also do you have the link, the other link that I posted?
Um,
Where was it? The details, what exactly they had.
I don't think
Yeah,
I have
bear
it.
with me, bear with me, bear with me. Where the fuck
I don't
did
think I
got
have
right
it. I
here.
don't think I have it up. I just have the video.
There it is.
Posting it again.
We got it. Yep. So, oh, that's not what I wanted that to be. That's on the other screen. There we go. Sorry, guys, over on Twitch. Yeah, you got to see what you were looking at. So, their 5-year plan, One Broken Wing Descent mode is coming to the public test servers tomorrow. The Warlords of New York expansion is the one that they're talking about. This is the latest expansion they're bringing. That's coming. The Descent mode's coming in on April 21st to the PC playtest. When is the other one coming out? Locked. Okay, I thought that they had a lot more information about that. Or was it? God damn it! Sorry, guys. Okay, here it is. Broken Wings is season 1. You get defense descent mode, which is the roguelike that we just talked about. Castle Rebuild, which I'm not entirely sure what that is, and an apparel event. The second season for year 5 roadmap is Puppeteers. You're going to get the incursion mode, which they haven't brought anything out for. Another castle build. I'm guessing those are like fortresses inside the world, I'm guessing, and another apparel event. Season 3 is back to New York, which I'm surprised about. That's kind of cool that we're going back to New
That
York.
is kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, because Division 2, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they're on an updated version of the Snowdrop engine, I think is what it was called.
I don't know.
I can't remember what their
It's
what their
Snowdrop.
engine was called.
It's
Is it
Snowdrop.
Snowdrop? Yeah.
Yep.
I think they're on a more like high fidelity engine of the Snowdrop engine. So like going back to New York, it's going to be a little bit cleaner. If I'm assuming at
How
least.
clean can New York get?
Gosh, especially in a post-apocalypse,
Yeah.
it's just gotten worse. They're also going to have a holiday event and an apparel event, and then season 4 is going to have a brand new story DLC and seasons 2.0, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. I don't think they went into too much detail about the rest of those, but like that's the roadmap for year 5, which is a lot.
I mean, it's
for a
yeah,
fifth
That's
year.
impressive, yeah.
The reality of it is that they can continue to go. Like the division can really continue to kind of keep growing, and I mean they can keep doing stuff with it, which they should. And I'm happy they are. I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those games where I think honestly, like I wouldn't say
They're
it's,
kind of just
it's
doing their own thing now. Like they've got their niche, and
Right.
they've like
I wouldn't say it's in the realm of No Man's Sky level because there's still some stuff that
For
we
sure.
didn't get,
No.
like with the
Yeah.
MMO aspect that we really should have, and I think it would have done it well. But there's still, I mean, like I own all of the Division 2 DLC because I bought it when it was on sale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I would love, yeah, I would have no problems going back, and jumping back into it and kind of.
I'll tell you what, when they had that little portion there at the end where the dude came out of the
Sam
darkness,
Fisher, bro, right?
I legitimately was like, are they bringing Sam
yeah.
Fisher into the Division 2? Like, what the
Right.
fuck?
Yeah, they probably knew what they were doing there.
Oh, they did.
No,
was absolutely-
I'm sure that that's not just a coincidence. They might be 100% bringing like a Sam Fisher event into the Division. I would not be surprised.
The only issue I ever had with the Division, and we all have it, is just the fact that it's based in the real world, but everybody is taking like 1,000 bullets to the fucking
Yeah.
chest like it's no
The-
problem.
Yeah.
The fucking mag dump on
Yeah.
a lot of that, like it's ridiculous.
Like
Like
if you
it
can
makes
get past
sense.
that, like it's an
It,
actually
it
it's
makes
a good
makes a
game.
lot more sense in Bungie
Destiny.
Like Destiny, yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
they're aliens and they have shields and shit.
But
But
these
this
are just
one just-
generic
it's-
Joes.
yeah.
Like
They're just
Well,
wearing some flak
And
armor,
the
man.
crazy thing too is like the armor base that you get is like a baseball cap, and it gives you like 40
Yeah.
plus armor. You're like,
The-
what the fuck
Yeah.
kind of cap? am I
Though
wearing?
honestly, with this new update with the roguelite that they're bringing out, it might make a little bit more sense because it's not like the real world. You're actually in
It's a
Yeah,
simulation.
like a
simulation, right?
pseudo simulation.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, look, I'll go
But
back with you.
everything
I
else
mean,
doesn't get an excuse.
you have until June
Yeah.
with Diablo, so I'll go back. I don't mind.
There you go. So yeah, I've been definitely looking at possibly re-downloading it just to get back into it, see what it's
I
looking like
may.
because I've heard that they've gotten a lot of updates that have made it really good. So
Yeah, and Scruff, if you've never played it, honestly, like it is an enjoyable experience to like get in and
I
do with
always, yeah,
friends.
I always thought it would be.
Um,
Just kind of
yeah.
never jumped into it.
Something else that want to jump in and talk about too is this game that actually, again, all this stuff kind of came out here today, here and recently, and this is I do want to spend, I think we're gonna spend a little bit of time on this, talking about it, but so okay, this is a game called Unrecord. Let me make sure it's on loop. This is a game. Well, okay, this is Unrecord because I don't know whether or not I'm in the boat of saying that this is a game or if this was actual shot footage or what, because it's all over the place.
It's crazy, man.
well,
Um,
and the
It's
thing is like
this
the
is from
fact that
IGN, by the way. What
the
we're saying.
fact that we have to question if this is a game or not is impressive.
it is very impressive.
Like the fact that like I looked at this and was like, dude, this looks like a
When I first saw this gameplay, dude, like
this looks
from
like a
the
cinematic trailer.
yeah, like the forest gameplay they brought
Yeah.
out with like that like found footage type deal. I thought it was impressive then, and they came out with this. I was like, wow, like
The one thing that I will say, and then it's just to like commend the creator, to take the visual like where you're centered at as the viewer, right, and put it
mhm,
inside of like a
uh,
what a body
Body cam.
cam, right?
body cam, yeah,
That is such a smart idea because like you can basically hide like if there's any kind of graphic infidelity that happens during the game, you can just be like, it's a body cam.
yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna lean into yet. I'm still yet to call this gameplay until I see like a a beta or something where I'm watching someone.
Well,
They
you
did.
you saw the Twitter, right?
I
That Twitter
saw a
post that we
bunch of,
had.
yes. I mean, we have like I can bring this down and I can bring up the Twitter post right like here. Like this is like the Twitter post from the one of
Yeah,
the creators or animators or something on here and talking about how it wasn't fake. All I'm saying is that the internet, like seeing that, okay, like this, they're doing stop motion. They're bringing like the camera in, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that it's not that it's not doable. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of certain things when it comes down to like the way that there's certain types of lens flaring, when there's certain types of like the way that the camera, when you catch like you catch the glint, like there's a very at the very beginning, like he walks up and he looks up and it catches like the sun and like it blinds and then comes back like, and again, I'm not saying that graphics can't eventually get to that, but there are certain things on here where I'm like, okay. I don't. We've been Day before it. I've been Watchdogged. I've been Divisioned. I've been, like all of these games where this is what it's supposed to be, and yet, it could be
I think
faked.
honestly, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I think what it really is like kind of coming down to is almost the fact that like I
That right
don't
there.
think in reality it necessarily looks as good as we see it, because I think what they're doing is hiding a lot of the looks and maybe some of the unpolished areas with the fact that it's a fisheye fast
It's a
motion
fisheye camera,
gameplay.
yeah.
Right,
Yep.
but
You know,
it's not the imperfections that I'm concerned about or looking at. It's the fact that there are no imperfections when when we're looking at
I'm
like,
saying that you're maybe not seeing those imperfections because of what's going on with the fisheye fast motion. Like I think they kind of are playing around it where they hide it in a sense, or it's very indistinguishable.
do you
I don't know.
remember
That's my thought,
do
maybe.
you remember the movie that came out that was like what was it? It was like Action Jack
Oh,
or Action
hardcore Henry. I love the movie.
Hardcore Henry, yeah. That this reminds me of
Yeah.
like of that in the same footage that we got there. And I wanted to bring up where is the I'm trying to find it. Shit, did I open up the same one twice? There's a footage of a game that is I don't know if I can't find it. It's of a horror game. that they showed, and they were talking. It's an Unreal Engine 5 um, horror game.
You talk about the one where he's like looking out the window into the forest, like the old broken
No,
window
And
in
a
the forest.
creepy woman
this
in the
was like
forest.
this was like
'Cause I thought
super recent, but I don't know if I can. I don't think I can find it. Damn it! I wish I could.
I thought
Um,
the that was the same devs.
I think I Let me see. Hold on.
I don't
I'll
know if it
find
was
it.
the same devs, but
That's what I
I think they're using the
thought.
same engine. This is a different dev than the one that you're thinking of. You're thinking of the one that I
Oh,
think at
here it
least
is. Here it
you're
is. I just
It
found
was
it.
you're
the
thinking
found
of that one.
footage.
Yeah,
It's this one. It's Paranormal Tales, right? So okay,
Paranormal Tales.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
this is another one that is using the body cam, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But if and I'm not again, two completely different, developers, different techniques, all that kind of stuff. But you can see this and look at it and go, this is a video game. You can tell like from a graphic fidelity, from a look, from a feel, from a movement, from a just every like lighting, all of those kind of things, which, again, they're both being done in Unreal Engine 5. I'm not saying that like because it's the same engine that both developers should be looking exact same, but there's just something when I'm comparing this to this that I'm like, I call bullshit on this. And I'm one of those few that I'm like, until I see it in my hand, like I will say this is a game before I will say that this is a game because I just, there's too many things that look hyper realistic to a point where I, th- I don't think that this is a video game. I think that this is, I don't want to say a scam. I just think that this is, I don't know. And the only thing that
I
throws me off
mean,
is this right here. Whenever they like pan through the world and like they're pulling themselves through the world, I'm like, all right, well, that's a little weird. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. And for the love of God, I hope it is a game. I hope it is true. I hope we're at the point where this is like this is fidelity. But I also know that there's a hot
Yeah.
take with train wrecks right now
yeah.
with this. You know,
Yeah, this fucking cracks me up, man. I'm
so
sorry. Like
what is going
I
on here?
understand. So he's basically saying that like he feels that this game is far the whatever this footage is way too realistic, and that's he feels that like these types of shooters should be heavily moderated for anyone under the a certain age, right? And I'm like,
So wait a minute. So the guy that is on a
so
website
the
that
ESRB.
but the guy that's on a website that is okay with allowing for DMCA movies and porn and gambling,
Yeah, sure.
that's okay.
You know, that's
That
different.
is
That's real life.
okay.
That's not video
Not
games, man.
this.
That's real life.
All right, just wanted to make sure.
But
Okay.
yeah,
I don't know, man.
my personal opinion of this is like I get where they're coming from, where they're like, oh, it looks way too realistic, and like we should, people should, younger people, the younger people, like the ages 10, 10, 11 shouldn't be exposed to this. Well, my only reply is like they shouldn't be exposed to that kind of shit, regardless of how realistic it looks to begin with. There's a reason why we have the ESRB. There's a reason why we have ratings on video games. There's a reason why most shooters are rated. I don't think they're rated mature, but they're rated like plus 18 for the most part.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can see like I can see what he's getting at. And I think it is very surprising that this is something coming from Trainwrecks,
Yeah.
like we said.
As-
But I'm not gonna say like I agree with it because as you literally just stated, with the rating system and all that kind of stuff, like that's already in place. Like I do see where he's coming from though, because what he's saying kind of is reminding me. I don't know if you guys remember, it was like back in like I don't know, it was 2021, maybe it was last year, 2022. There was a news article that like blew up, and everyone was going crazy or like the news was going crazy, like, oh, we got this footage of a jet, taking down another like aircraft or something, and it was literally footage from
Arma.
Arma 3.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So if a news station, which they don't have much credibility nowadays anyways,
I was about to say,
can mistake that. I know, but just think about like then obviously like children, with their young minds. Yeah, I mean they shouldn't be viewing this stuff,
I
but
completely
they can
agree,
easily be influenced by it, in a way too.
but again,
Yeah, no,
they shouldn't be
they
seeing it to
shouldn't be
begin
seeing
with.
it.
There's
Yeah,
already a rating system on video games to
I
stop
know,
that from
but
happening, and the only reason why
unfortunately,
children the only reason why
there's
children see it is because parents are fucking terrible and let their children just sit their children in front of
yeah.
a fucking computer and say, "Here, Timmy, play this M-rated game or this,
No,
18 plus rated game.
I
I'm
know.
sure
That's
you'll
why
be
I'm saying
fine."
like I don't necessarily like I'm not like agreeing with him, but I could just see where like he's kind of coming from. But
It's just
and
it's
how
just a it's
easy it
just a
is
weird one for
nowadays,
me,
though.
man.
Yeah, it is. It's a very
It's
Well,
weird
the thing,
take,
it's
the
but
it's
thing,
it's weird. It's weird to me because the reason he gives it or the I don't know. I don't remember if it was Trainwreck or the dude that was replying to him, but the dude I think it was the dude that was replying to him was like, if you've ever seen somebody die in real life, it's just not great. And it's like, yeah, I understand that. It's
right.
it's a very traumatic. It's a very traumatic experience. You're still like COD is still simulating people being shot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like
Well, I mean, well, that's the thing is that we're the the graphic fidelity and the realism that we move into is like, why is that the arguing point if that's going to be your
yeah.
your standing ground? It's the
Well,
reality of it is that
especially since we have 4K video right now that can see the fucking pores on people's skins. You can go to a movie, an action movie, and watch somebody get shot in 4K, and it looks pretty fucking real.
right. I mean,
yeah,
so it's to me in this kind of sense, it's like, all right, well, I don't I don't think that it is a situation of we should stifle technology or these types of things because we have to police what's everybody sees or whatever. Like that's not, again, like to Enigma's point, that's not
Well,
your
granted,
job
I
to
don't
yeah.
think that he was ever wanting to like stifle the technology. He was
I
bringing
don't
out a
really
point
know
that
what he
I
was
don't really know
arguing.
what the
Well,
point
I
he
mean,
was
Yeah,
fucking
on
I
here
arguing,
don't
he's
know
arguing the
either.
honestly.
fact that he's arguing the point that it's too realistic. It's over. Like but again, here's what I'll say: if you take this and you would have put this in Unreal Engine 3 or Unreal Engine 4, right, and it was that, nobody would say anything. It's because
He'd
of the
be just
fact
fine
that
with it. Yeah.
It's because the technology is getting to a point where it's almost undistinguishable. Like
right.
it's kind of
And so
it,
it's one of those things where it's like, oh, and now it's not a video game. Now it's real life and we're
yeah,
watching a body cam or
yeah,
whatever else. But yet at the same time, we're not also chastising the news station for going out here and showing people and cops that are wearing body cams or, people getting gunned down in the streets or what's going on in the Ukraine or whatever. So like it again, I really hate this, like I'm gonna pick and choose what I want to fight and argue about
yeah,
and especially when you start to leverage into video games and things of that nature where kids have been playing, like there's no proof that shows that violent video games cause violent behavior when again coupled with proper parenting or whatever else. And
yeah,
that's the kicker, it's the proper parenting and
Proper parenting. Yep.
definitely.
understanding behind it.
I've
So
I've always sat there. I've always firmly been of the opinion that like the only reason why games get a really bad reputation is because of bad parents. Like they're the
Yeah,
parents this
and
again.
you
They
know what
sit
it is
you
the
sit little
parents.
Timmy down in front of the video game and he sits there in front of the video game for
Yeah,
8 hours a
and
day.
what it is the parents don't want to own up to them, being a bad parent and making a mistake and not actually,
Yeah, so they'll
taking the
pass the
time
buff
to
off.
educate their kid, and so they pass it off on the game. It's the game's fault.
right.
So
So
I know I think it's honestly a lot deeper than what Trainwreck's like, what it really is. I think he's just it's just a weird take from him. Like from what everything like he does. It's just interesting to see him saying something
Really is.
along these
Yeah.
lines. Like I don't know.
It's
Like
it's
if
impressive
anyone
though.
else said it,
Like
yeah, I don't know.
like the tech behind it, if this is a video game and this is on Unreal 5, because again, I understand where you're coming from, where it's like
Yeah,
there's certain aspects of it, like when the camera pans up into the sky, you can see the blur from the camera having to adjust to the differences in light,
which
right?
in everything in
Which
Unreal Engine 5 I've never seen it to the quality
yeah,
of that.
yeah, which is very it's a very strange one. It's also very strange that like there's no like bullet physics or anything like that. Like when he shoots a wall, there's not a bullet hole there. Granted, that could be just early development and he just doesn't have the assets set for that yet. But if it is an Unreal Engine 5 and this is a video game, like that's crazy, dude. How
Right.
realistic that looks. And if that's the case, we're literally like less than 10 years away from being pretty much undistinguishable from real life.
Barring that you got a system that can run this shit, because
Did
Yes.
people is going to be
Very true.
screaming
Very
on
true.
that.
do you guys remember this though? This train station Unreal Engine 5 gameplay.
Yeah, this was the horror one, right? Like the
It had a horror aspect to it. It wasn't much. It was a short clip of just like what Unreal Engine 5 could
Yeah.
do. It was very
yeah.
this was, and to me at the time
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is like Unreal, like this is crazy.
But
It,
even
wa- it
still,
wasn't horror, but people were like, "This is creepy as shit" for some reason.
Oh yeah,
But
no,
even-
it was creepy. It was a very eerie
and
vibe.
here's the thing in this too, that this is where again where I'm like, okay, it's like you can still tell there are certain things about it that you can still tell that this is a video game versus what we just saw. And again, I don't know if it's because of the movement or there's something about Unrecord that I just have not been able to say like, okay, I believe that this is and a lot of it has to do with like the lighting. And I know the Unreal Engine 5, like the whole thing is like the lumens and the lighting and all this other kind of stuff that they work on and they change and they do. But there's just certain things about that Unrecord that when you see it and the motion, it just something about it is like, no, this doesn't feel like a video game. And again, maybe that's a testament to the engine, like, and kudos on it. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
when it comes out and it's real, it'll be real.
yeah, it'll
real
be
impressive.
it'll be fucking
Gonna
crazy.
be a
So,
real murderer for people's PCs, that's for sure.
oh yes. So, all right. So that is Unrecord and the different Unreal Engine 5 games and the drama that's going in on that. Speaking about other drama and news of things being fake or not fake. Well, we were talking about acquisitions and whether or not what was Sony going to do and how are they going to answer. With obviously the purchase with Microsoft. By the way, even more countries have now like greenlit that shit's happening. Whether you want to believe
There's
it or
ads
not.
going up for it too. I don't know if you guys saw that. Microsoft is putting ads in London for their
Oh,
Call
God,
of Duty
they,
X
they,
Microsoft.
they know it's coming. Like
Yeah.
there's no way they can be stopped at this point. It's gonna happen one way or
Yeah.
another.
It's
Um,
verified. It's
But I think that it's funny when, again, this kind of stuff. Like, if we hadn't, if it had, like, legitimately, me and Enigma found it, but I swear to God, you could skip it without even fucking seeing it. And again, I'm not saying that everything has to be announced in big, grandiose fashion, but as much of a stink that Sony's putting on about buying studios and buying all this stuff, they sure slipped this one right out there real quick, right? Which is they acquired Firewalk Studios. Whether
do
or not,
you even
like,
who this is?
So
Has
Fire
anyone
Firewalk
dived into them? 'Cause I
Studios,
did, but I
yeah,
didn't find nothing.
Firewalk Studios has nothing. Their basically biggest thing is like I think they were purchased at one point by another studio and then
probably
they
Monsters,
started
right?
work. Yeah, Monsters something. I can't remember what it was called.
It's
It was
probably Monsters, yeah.
probably Monsters. Yes, they were purchased by them. They started work on this a brand new shooter title of theirs, and then I guess Sony purchased them,
And that's all we know is
and that's all we know.
are working on a
They've never
AAA
made anything.
multiplayer game.
They've literally never made anything. They're backed by. They're essentially ex Bungie, ex COD developers essentially. So they have some developers and they have some chops behind them, but their specific studio has never made anything.
This
And I
article,
think
by the way,
that's
comes
I
from us from
think
Destructoid.
I think that's why and how they're kind of slipping that under the rug is like it's
Here's
not a big AAA purchase.
here's my question about it. Can Sony, after all of this, regardless of how many studios they buy, I don't give a fuck whether they buy 1 billion studios or they buy 4. Can Sony buy a studio and then make that studio go exclusive? Like in the eyes of the public. Like, do you think after all of this shit that they could get away with saying, "Oh, we're gonna buy
In
this and now we're gonna make it exclusive"?
I think
in the eyes of the entire gaming community,
That's what I'm talking about.
no.
Not will they?
no,
They
but
will
the
absolutely
Sony
do it.
community.
in the eyes of the Sony
The Sony-
community,
yes.
100% yes.
Yeah,
That's what
So,
blows
like,
me away.
yeah.
Is that I feel like
100%.
Sony will pull this shit to be like, oh, well, whatever this is, no, it's going
Yeah.
it's going exclusive.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll pull exclusive for it. If not complete exclusivity,
Yeah.
it'll be like a year or two, and then it'll come to PC. I
PC,
don't think it'll
but
ever
definitely not
come to
Xbox, right?
Xbox,
and
yeah.
after all this stuff with the Microsoft and making the fool of themselves, they'll somehow turn it on like back to like the Sony community. Like, yeah,
Well,
we're
the
here for you
100%.
guys. We're here for you. We bought the studio just for you for
Not
Sony
just
games.
that, not just that, but they'll also turn it back on what's it called, Microsoft,
Microsoft, yeah,
and be like, the only reason why we had to buy this company was because they were making an
yeah,
online FPS video game, and we needed that to replace the revenue
yeah.
source.
Oh man, it's so
Yeah,
crazy.
we
It's
had a fight for this. This is how we
We
live.
had to. This is the only way that a multi-billion-dollar company like Sony could ever continue
Yeah.
operating in the good faith.
it's so funny to
That's
me.
exactly what'll happen.
Oh
100%.
man. So there you go. So Sony acquired Firewalk Studios. So just again, acquisition season's
Interesting
not
stuff.
over. Yep. So
I'd be very interested to see what their FPS looks like. I don't think we have any information on it. Like,
We have
none.
nothing, I don't think. Yeah.
no, well, we know that Bungie is working on a live service shooter for them.
Yeah.
But what that is, we don't know yet. So
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of live service games and not knowing whatever the fuck it is, apparently, from Rock Paper Shotgun, the day before, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this game, but it's
Nope, never heard
oh
of it.
man, the day before promises that they're going to come out with a beta test and are working on Steam Return.
Yep. Still working on that trademark.
Still doing it, man.
Why?
Oh, did you watch this video though? I
No.
love this. I'm
sauna.
glad they took the time
Yeah.
to really work on this spa.
This is amazing, man. Yep.
This is
This is what
just
we
So
need.
so glad that they spent the last
Yeah.
2 months on this.
And can I add though, anybody see what's wrong with this picture too?
it. I don't know. It looks like reminds me of GTA RP, but I don't know why. What?
This is, like I mean, maybe not, but it's like a male spa, and then you have just one chick in there with all these other dudes.
Of course. Yeah, you got it. It's just like their last one where they had to
Yeah,
do an
emphasize
extreme
the
close up
booty.
of her ass. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I don't.
Oh god.
I
This
just
is the day before, guys.
can we just collectively agree that this game is not real, it's not bullshit, and why people, honest to God, we should just stop. We honestly should probably stop reporting on it.
Just stop
because
reporting on it.
Yeah.
I really feel like all we're doing is just
Just
giving more flame to the fire.
Adding, yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. So anyway, if you give a shit about this game, it's coming out. It's supposed to be getting a fucking beta, but that's that.
Unannounced beta sometime before their alleged release on November 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another game that garnered quite a bit of curiosity from a lot of people was the new Monster Hunter game that we all thought was going to be a new Monster Hunter game, but in fact is a Monster Hunter Pokemon Go game.
But
Well,
it's still a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, it's a Monster Hunter game, but it's
still
it's
Monster
a
Hunter game.
Niantic Go.
It's just
game.
Pokemon Go.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
Yeah,
is-
you gotta hunt.
it's a AR is what they
You
are.
got to hunt monsters in the real world now.
Which I think,
augmented
I
reality
mean,
game.
again, I think it's a cool concept. I mean, I'm not gonna knock Pokemon Go, dude. That game does
Hey man,
wild
it's
Yeah,
popular.
success.
It's still
popular.
popular.
It's still good.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
nuts, and the amount of success that they continue to do with it is crazy.
Yeah.
So kudos on them.
I'm just curious about this. Like, I'm less like curious if they'll actually do anything with it and like succeed, because I didn't know it was being published by Niantic, which is actually probably a good thing. But the other AR games that I've seen in the past that have not weren't Pokemon Go, they've all kind of dwindled off and kind of died. So I was worried at first, like, I don't think this is really gonna last, because I feel like COVID still has a huge chokehold on these type of games, because you don't have that
Dude,
as much
you're,
like
you're underestimating
Nah.
this.
Yeah. Like
I don't know.
Pokemon Go, like even in COVID,
But no,
did
but because
extremely well.
Pokemon Go was way
Pokemon
sustained
go to
before,
sleep too. Sorry.
had sustained a base way before COVID, and the reason they lived is because they added additions to get away from.
Oh, and it's
stuff. So
Pokemon. Like
and it's Pokemon,
100%.
so it's gonna
Pokemon
have
has
that,
a lot to do
that
with
base.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think this might.
What the one
live
thing
because of Niantic.
the one thing that you're also vastly misunderstanding is how popular Monster Hunter is in Japan.
Right. I
This
mean,
is
Like Monster Hunter, like granted it's not on par with Pokemon, like 100%. It's nowhere near it, but it is extremely popular in Japan.
that's true.
Granted,
That's true.
in the states probably not as much. They probably won't do as well in the states if they release this in the states. Um, but definitely in China or in like Japan and China, 100%.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
definitely didn't
I
take
think
into consideration the Eastern release.
I still think that it'll do well in a too. I mean,
I
again,
don't think it'll do.
they
I don't think it'll do poorly. I just don't think it'll do as well as it'll do
well,
in
no,
Japan.
there's not as
Yeah.
many people fucking in over
Yeah,
here as there is over there, and mobile gaming is huge over
for
there. So,
sure.
I mean, but the reality is that like in San Francisco and California and Texas and these big cities, man, they hold Raleigh just held a huge Pokemon Go event that was a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where they rented out an entire amphitheater and park, all for Pokemon Go. Like it is. I'm telling you, man. Like the Niantic. If it was anybody but Niantic, I would be like, this is probably gonna flop. But because it's Niantic
That's
and
yeah.
they know what they're
Yeah,
doing,
When I learned it was Niantic, I was like, okay, yeah, this could
it's got a
probably be a
pass for
thing.
sure.
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
it's
and
got
and
something.
honestly, for me, I would download and play this versus Pokemon Go because I don't give a shit about Pokemon. I like
for
Monster
sure.
Hunter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool. I would be down
I,
for.
I mean,
I
if it comes out in the West, I definitely want to try it out. The biggest issue that I have is that again, and I was just talking in our Twitch chat for it. Like the biggest problem that I had with Pokemon Go is just like with my back and my disability, I can't walk around that much. So it's one of those things where it's like
Well, they
these games I would love to play them, but like when I played Pokemon Go, they didn't have
a
that
lot
accessibility
they've
situation.
Yeah, it
Niantic
has more accessibility now.
has yeah, I was to say Niantic has implemented a whole kind of thing about where it doesn't require the like movement,
Yeah,
like you
the
can't.
actual going
I don't
out.
think you,
I just remember when I first started playing Pokemon Go, I had to download a another app
To
that's
fake your
that's
your
that
position,
spooked my
spoof your
my position,
position. Yeah, yeah,
and then I got banned because they found out.
nice.
Uh,
Like, what are you doing in Puerto Rico? Huh?
yeah,
I
pretty
thought
much. It wasn't even that. It was just like I think I went like 15 miles in the matter of like a couple seconds, and it was just
yeah,
on an accident, and then
yeah,
they like instantly just got banned. I was like, you motherfucker.
yeah.
well, that is all for the big news. Part of what we do at the very end of the segment is that we one open it up to questions. So make sure that if you have any kind of questions, go ahead and get them in there. But we also go through quick hits because some things are not big enough to cover super in depth, but they still need to be mentioned. Couple things: Dark and Darker had a playtest, which I don't want to go in super in depth on that, but they
That's
basically
crazy.
Nexon had a lawsuit against them for copyright infringement and all this other kind of stuff. And basically, Iron Horse Studios had or Nexon had a certain amount of time to be able to produce enough to say like, hey, you can't do that, or you need to cease and desist and shut down. And I guess that they lapsed on that, which allowed Iron Horse to then produce this playtest, which went crazy and people fanned for it, and it was all over Twitch and all the platforms. But the way to get into the game was that you had to go through a torrent to do it because
Sketchy.
it wasn't up
Yeah,
on
you had
Steam.
to
Catchy.
you had to download
uTorrent.
uTorrents or one of the
Yeah.
other torrenting applications, and then you had to like download the .i or the ISO or whatever the game files for it from just some random sketch website.
It worked
Mhm.
perfectly, but it was
I'm sure
very
it did,
It
one
just
hundred percent.
very
But
But
it's
it
just
also ingrained malware and
Just-
it's
and
very
piracy
very
leaked
yeah.
onto your system.
So,
Like
yeah.
that went against every ounce of my like cyber
Yeah.
security
I
background.
mean,
of being
hey,
like,
the game worked perfectly, but they have your social security.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, but
The
so
game
does
worked.
so does super people. So I mean,
Yeah.
I also if I'm not mistaken, I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on this, but I thought when I was skipping through some of these some of my news article generations, I thought I saw something about them getting hit with a cease and desist and a copyright from
I mean,
Nexon.
they may have gotten hit again. I mean, I don't.
Again, yeah.
This is going to be an ongoing thing. And
Yeah, literally 6 hours ago, Dark and Dark lawyers asked Valve to bring the game back. Steam is letter blasting Nexon for anti-competitive bully tactics, while Nexon has put a new cease and desist order out and a copyright infringement
The thing is about
case
it
on
is the
them now
cease and
too.
desist. They can continue to bury them under cease and desist. Like,
Yeah.
and this is going to be an ongoing thing where they'll do the cease and desist. If they miss the timeline, Iron Horse is just basically going to do this kind of thing. Whether they get it on Valve or something like that, I don't know. Fuck, self-publish it on Epic, I guess. I have no idea, but anyway, yeah. So playtest is still going on for Dark and Darker. It's just wild to me. BuzzFeed shutting down, kind of an end of an era
Thank
when
God.
that. I honestly have no idea what BuzzFeed is. I somehow have lived in a bubble where
Buzz
Good.
never
You
never
don't.
knew
You
what
don't.
BuzzFeed
Yeah,
was.
You don't
you
need
really
to
don't
know.
want it. They're I don't know. They're a site that's
Just
was
a
extreme.
a
Do you
pop
remember the
culture
do you
news
remember
feed
the
site. Like,
YouTube Adpocalypse?
Mm-hmm.
That was started because of BuzzFeed.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
yeah.
but
I don't know.
BuzzFeed, one of the developer, or not the developers, one of the quote unquote reporters for BuzzFeed got pissed off because somebody did something to him, and the entirety of YouTube
Paid for it.
essentially suffered for it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, good riddance. Twitter. If you guys are unfamiliar, Twitter is legacy
If you're
users.
unfamiliar with Twitter,
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Twitter, but no, if you're familiar with Twitter, but unfamiliar with the check mark kind of thing that's going on, basically, legacy users, you can earn a check mark based on being a big enough, voice in the space. And Twitter would give you a check mark saying that you're a verified user or legacy user. That's all gone now. You either have to pay for it or
Well,
you had to be given a golden, or
I'm
you have to
not
be Elon Musk's friend.
I'm not familiar with Twitter. I'm familiar with Tatter. Was it
or
Tatter
split.
or Titter or whatever it
Titter.
was?
That's different. That's a version. That's a version of Kick's social media platform. Is
Titter.
Titter.
Yeah.
Another news: Valve is
Uh,
also developing a new VR headset. So that's pretty interesting. We don't have a lot of details on it. All we know is that they are developing a brand new gaming VR headset. So they're still going down that route. If there's any of them that I trust Valve when it comes to their VR stuff. And the biggest news of all today, fuck everything else. Diablo 4 is getting a new beta from May 12th to the 14th. From level 1 to level 20, all classes are going to be playable that we know about, and you will be able to earn a horse mount armor thing if you beat a Shava at level 20.
at level 20.
Yes, you have to be at
Level
20.
20. Don't
So,
come to it at level 15.
yep.
20.
I mean, you can go there, but you're not going to get you're not going to get the stuff.
Yeah.
And D4 has gone gold, guys. I am so excited. I can't fucking wait, man.
It's gonna get pushed back.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
But anyway,
That's why they're giving you this little beta, this
Yeah,
little
they're
test.
giving you
Yeah.
a beta, and then they're gonna be like, "Hey guys, sorry, can't do it."
Upon
Can't
further
get to it."
review after this beta, we got.
we said fuck sin, and we're not bringing it down. Anyway,
No, that's
but yeah,
cool. It's good. Yeah, I'm looking for. I'm glad that they gave us another open beta because from what I understand, they've buffed the barbarian, they've buffed the
they listen to a
druid,
lot
so
of feedback.
it's not as bad. Like the druid was rough. Like
Yeah.
I cannot state how bad the druid was, dude. Like it was
That's
a
sad for me because
slog.
that's gonna be my main. So
Yeah. So I'm
I
really hoping that they fixed the druid and they nerfed the necromancer because the necromancer was extremely overpowered.
the biggest thing that, I mean, I think it was like an hour and a half long or 2 hour long session today during their dev diary. What I will say about this, and actually this is a point that I had not thought of until now. Everybody, when Diablo Immortal came out, everybody was like, "Oh my god, Diablo!" And then Diablo 4, they're like, "Oh fuck, Diablo 4 is fucked because it's just gonna be Diablo Immortal 2.0." One of the things that was pointed out that I kind of took to consideration was Diablo 4 has actually been in production for a lot longer than what Diablo Immortal was, and that the Diablo team, whether you take it for, you can trust them or not, I trust them in this sense to say, I think that they took things out of Diablo 4 and just said, we're going to put it into more Immortal and make that a cash shop because we can do it, and that's what we're going to do, versus the other way around, worrying that Diablo 4 is going to become Diablo Immortal. Now, I could be wrong, and they could tank it,
Well,
and they
no,
could whatever, but
and one thing with that is like, yeah, I do agree with you that they probably took a lot of the systems out of Diablo 4 and put them into Diablo Immortal. But the biggest problem that people had with Diablo Immortal was, I think that, in my opinion at least, and from what I saw, was that a lot of people were saying that Diablo 4, and I agree with, I have to tend to agree with them. Diablo Immortal was a test run to see if they could get away with some of those shitty monetization,
Yeah, but
aspects.
but from what I've again, we don't know until the game is out, right? But what I'll say is that
For sure.
after the beta, the feedback, sitting down, listening to everybody, Rod Ferguson and the entire team over there, Adam Fletcher, the entire team over there over uh, um, at D4 and Blizzard, I have never felt as confident going into a Blizzard game than what I feel right now because all the feedback, literally, I mean, today they literally listed off the stuff that was just, boom, after like saying, like, look, like
So
we talked about
You
map
know why
design,
I'm
we're changing
like
it.
just like nervous for you, just being so
Yeah, I
so
mean,
confident.
so
It's
you
I'm
you you
nervous.
know
it's so hard to
you
do nowadays.
so you know that they released Battle for Azeroth into open beta so that they could get the public and the player base's opinions of Battle for Azeroth, got those opinions and ignored them and did whatever the fuck they
Right,
wanted
but
to
that's what I'm
anyways.
saying. That's the difference is here is that the beta that what they're doing is different. They're not ignoring it. Like they're literally making the changes, even down to the fucking font, which is crazy to me that people were bitching about the font, but they were bitching about font.
I
They
mean, the
made the
font was
font
rough.
they font
The
changed it.
the,
But
the font
but
was rough. It
but
was
that to
tiny.
me opens my eyes to say you guys are listening enough even to the stupidest shit about the font to change. Like you are changing the maps, you're changing,
The way
the
you say
dungeon
that.
layout, the
The
stuff.
one
But
thing the one thing that strangely enough for some God only knows why reason they are being steadfastly just stubborn about
don't tell me the
is that
overlay.
they don't want to bring the fucking overlay. I don't know why.
I don't have a problem with
Why?
it. I'm okay with it. I don't I don't
That was a big thing for me. I don't get why.
Yeah,
It
it's
seems like such a
there's
simple
no
thing.
reason
I,
why they
ev-
shouldn't have
I
it.
think I
Yeah,
think
it's like
especially since
it's a
overlays
standard.
are a toggle. It's
It's a
not something you have to
standard
have
in
on the screen. Yeah.
ARPGs.
I think that the reasoning, this is my theory behind it, but the reasoning behind it is because in my mind by having and I actually don't like the move for them to go to a more linear map where they're like the like I didn't mind the backtracking on the map. I just think that they should have added enemies into the backtrack versus making it just like once you clear the dungeon, the dungeon's cleared. Is that you are what happens when you give the overlay map, you give that linear feel, you're now just giving players the sense of I just need to speed run. I need to get to the very end, get to the middle of the map, get to wherever else, and just kill off and get and move.
But
And I
but
think what
the
this game is not that. Like this is supposed to be
but the fact of the matter is that an overlay in a game like that is a toggle. You can use it if you want to. And if you
true,
don't want to, you don't have to use it.
but I think by
There's no reason that as a standard, bog fucking standard, literally every action MMO pretty much has an overlay map.
yeah, I just well
Why does
not
D4 not have one?
I think that the like that's one thing that I actually don't mind because I'm like it engages you to be in the world, it engages you to be in the game.
But it doesn't.
Um,
It doesn't engage you to be in the world. It engages you to be in your map.
no, I didn't need to go into my map that much. I could lay out that dungeon.
I was constantly going
I
into my
was
map
in the
being
map a
like, where
lot.
the
I
fuck
know.
am I?
I did not have that issue at all, and I felt like it was a situation, especially now because the dungeons are more linear, like in the way that you path them. I don't think that it's needed to have that overlay map like that. But I'm sorry, like I can tell you right now, like if you turn on an overlay map, you can watch players literally just that's what they focus in on is on the overlay map, not what is actually happening inside the game because they're just like I need to go here to here to here to here to here
Well,
to here to here.
you're gonna
But
get
that, I
that.
mean,
You're gonna get that regardless. Like they,
that's
if
just a way
if
that
people want to
players
speed
play
run,
ARPGs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but
If people are
that
wanting
doesn't
to
necessarily
speed run,
mean
they're
that
gonna speed run regardless.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it also doesn't mean that it's right. I'm just saying that in their methodology, in my opinion, is that they're saying I want you to be in the world and what's happening inside of what's going on right now
But
versus
no,
worrying about an overlay map.
I think
their
we're
methodology
making.
that they said the methodology that they said because they had a question about it.
I think
I
they said
think it
something
was
about
Riker.
graphics.
They said that they didn't want to have the clutter on the screen, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Make it a fucking toggle
I
like
think,
every other action
yeah,
RPG.
honestly, I think, but really, I think we're just making this a bigger thing than it is.
Yeah,
All it is a quality of life feature that they
it really
probably
is.
should have just because it's just
It's
such
just
a
a
simple
weird
thing to
decision to
have.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I
just
don't know. It's It is what it is. Yeah,
And
we'll
and
see.
on
But
honestly, the community will probably be such a pain in the ass that they'll probably add it regardless.
Yeah,
But
I imagine they probably will.
I hope they don't. But it doesn't matter. In any case, I'm just excited that D4 is fucking right around the corner, boys and girls. I cannot wait. And
that's
You know, they're actually going to
I know
delay
what it is.
D4
That's what I was about to
because
say.
they
It's
don't
gonna
have
be
it.
delayed.
Yeah, because they don't have the toggle.
They're gonna be like,
They-
bro, sorry, bro, we're gonna have to delay it by 6
Yep.
months because we gotta add in the fucking overlay back.
Yep.
yeah, they better not. I mean, this is the first time in so long that like I am just like, oh
Ugh.
my god, I can sink my teeth into something like WildStar, and it gives me my PvP, it gives me my action RPG, it gives me my MMO, like it's giving me Diablo, like I need this to hit. I Blizzard, I swear to God, I need this to
know,
fucking hit.
If I had a nickel every time that you've said this for a
Right?
game,
That's what I was about
I
to say.
just
Like,
need it, man.
he
It's
says
not
that about
fair.
every
it's
fucking
like
game.
Lost Ark, Last Epoch,
Man,
you know, is like I think
it's
PoE
gonna
at
be
one
the
point
next
even,
one,
like,
man.
this is
Yeah,
it,
because I'm
guys.
searching, I'm hoping, I need it, man. It's not fair. Everybody else has a game. I don't have a game. This is
Oh
bullshit.
god.
Anyway,
we all
all
have
right.
to cater to
Jonesing,
Sin's
man.
needs.
He's jonesing.
I am absolutely jonesing. Or just bring WildStar back. Like just bring WildStar back and I'll be fine. So
That's not gonna happen, dude. Just give it up, man.
Anyway, all right.
We
well,
we
this-
need to send. Do we need to send you back to the Wild Star fucking shrink and get him to get you to talk about your problems?
it'll never happen, dude. It'll never happen. All right. Like,
That's
you know how
gotta
bad
be
you
it.
know how bad this is that I've honest to God thought about going back to do World of Warcraft hardcore servers because I'm just like I need to go back. I need an MMO or going back to the what Project Ascension, like going back into
Ascension.
that, like you know, something. I just
I
need
think we need to get an overlay, Scruffy, for like
Yeah.
that's like Sin reminisces about the Wild Star and just like have it
Yeah.
like 0 days since Sin reminisced and then
But I don't know, man.
15 days since
I don't know. That overlay might clutter up the screen too much.
it would
Maybe if we
definitely
make it a
clutter the screen
toggle.
up too much, man.
If we
Yeah, it's
make it
gonna
a
be a
toggle,
toggle.
I
I
hate you
think
guys. All right,
100%.
that's it, guys. Episode number 81 is in the bag. I hope you guys had a
Verified, boys.
wonderful stream. Make sure that you tune in every single week, 10:30 p.m. right here across our YouTube as well as our Twitch. If you want to join us live, you can engage with the community. We read your comments. Thank you for everybody that's here and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We will be back hopefully full strength next week. Barring that
Jinxed it.
barring that the puppy doesn't want to move somewhere else and around here. Maybe we just give him a permanent spot. We'll have to like
I think
it'll-
so, man.
it'll be like find the puppy. Where's the puppy at this week? Kind of thing.
That'll just
So-
be the Where's Waldo from now on.
Yeah.
just start hiding them somewhere in the scenes. But if you missed any part of the show or you couldn't catch this episode, make sure you check us out on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast or any of your podcast apps or on Spotify, on Twitter, the Discord, so TikTok, Shorts, wherever. We're everywhere. So make sure you guys go and check us out. Going around the horn, do you guys have any kind of content that you're looking to do in Scruffy? You got anything coming up? I think you doing are
Dead
we,
Island 2, right?
yeah, are you gonna stream after this?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
All right. Me and
Yeah.
Scruffle are going to go live right after the podcast. Give us a few minutes to get everything installed.
Shills.
Whatever. Go sit and beat your head against a wall. You wanted to play the game. You're just choosing not to.
I did, man. I did.
But we're going to be playing some Dead Island 2 right after the show. That's going to take up a majority of my kind of content for probably the foreseeable week and some more War Tales. But anything else, Scruff, you got going on?
No, just pretty much. I mean, I might dabble a little bit of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
You bought the
just try-
$30 fucking
you were
battle pass
literally-
too.
Yeah, I have to like.
Oh, you were choking,
know,
man. I was like, you okay?
I literally, it makes me a little sick because I bought that shit. So
Yep.
I have to make myself feel better and actually play it.
Play Battlefield with me, man. Like I'm so addicted back into Battlefield, dude.
Maybe I don't know.
It's so good. It's so
It
good.
is. It has gotten better. Anyways, that's
Enigma.
just Dead Island 2 and that.
You got anything going on?
Probably. I've been getting into PoE. Like, I never thought that I would get into PoE this badly, but like, I finally just gave up and accepted the fact that I need to not make my own build, and I've been following the Righteous Fire
Wow.
Juggernaut build.
Gross.
And dude, it has made my life so much easier trying to learn that game.
Gross.
Like so much easier. I know
Gross.
it's bad because I like to make my own builds in action RPGs, and I've always been that way. Every time I've gone back to PoE, I've been like, this game sucks. I hate it because I can't figure out the build complexity, right? But like, I'm actually learning side pieces, pieces of information. I what the fuck the past pieces that they added in for the seasons were, everything like that, just by going off of this build. So
I like
it's
PoE
been
until
one
I
of
get
those
to end
things.
game. I just can't deal with the end game. The
Yeah,
end game
that
to
was the
me
only thing
is
for me.
just
I enjoyed the initial playthrough. It was a good time, but
yeah.
end game was
I
kind of a
yeah,
drag.
yeah,
The maps
I can
and
see
all
it.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
on
so
top of that, all the extra bullshit that I have to do to like go trade something, go to another website, add this the loot filter, and do all this other kind of. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man! Can you just it just reminds me of World of Warcraft. I'm like, can I just not play the fucking game the way the game's meant to be played without having to do all this extra shit? So,
Right.
no,
but
no, you can't.
no, you can't.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
the answer
that's
is no.
that
So
PoE, and like I said, I want to play a little bit more Minecraft Legends, not Dungeons. As well, they added freaking what was that one? The shit. Uh
V Rising.
no, not V
that is
Rising.
something that's
They
coming
added
up.
it.
I want to do that too.
They added it to Xbox. Hold on a second.
Nick, I
Bear
need
with
you to
me.
hurry
I'm
up because you're
sorry.
chewing into my
Yeah,
I'm
fucking
sorry.
Rhode
I
Island
know. I know.
cigarettes.
I know. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh
They
yeah,
added that.
I want to
They
get
added that
into
on the
that
Xbox
too.
Game Pass. So
You wasted my time for Ghostwire Tokyo.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Anyway.
all right. That's it. Episode 81's in the back. Guys, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful fucking evening. We will catch you guys next week, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Thursdays across our YouTube and our
Hopefully, all
Twitch.
four of us this time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Stop saying it.
All
We're jinxing
right.
it.
You guys have a wonderful,
Arrivederci, everyone.
wonderful evening.
Deuces, y'all.
Bye.